Chapter 699 was indeed two stupid bears as expected. The injured earth-shattering ice bear stopped where it was and stared at Yun Chujo fearfully. Little bear, is there something wrong with your head? Your leg is injured, why don't you eat the snow Ganoderma? Then won't your injury be healed after just a small bite? Yun Chujo asked curiously. The injured earth-shattering ice bear showed a disdainful expression, obviously thinking that Yun Chujo's question was stupid. Yun Chujo was furious. Damn it, you stupid bear. How dare you look down on me? Yun Chujo raised the rolling pin and hit the back of the bear on the ground. The bear cried out in pain, but it was too tired and did not even have the strength to stand up and run. The injured ice bear immediately collapsed and cried out a few times. However, Yun Chujo did not understand the language of beasts, so she naturally did not know what it meant. What nonsense are you talking about? I don't understand. Repeat it. Yun Chujo pouted and said. The injured earth-shattering ice bear was smart. Seeing that Yun Chujo did not understand, it rolled its eyes and decided to demonstrate with its actions. It limped in front of the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma and stretched out its huge claws toward the snow Ganoderma. Then, something strange happened. Its claws were blocked by an invisible barrier. It could not touch the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma at all. Even though the earth-shattering ice bear slammed the barrier, it could not break it. Yun Chujo's interest was piqued. Interesting. Could it be that the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma had a protective barrier? Yun Chujo blinked her eyes. She threw a supreme-grade blood coagulation pill to the injured earth-shattering ice bear. I'm a soft-hearted person. This is a pill to stop bleeding. It's up to you whether you want to eat it or not. Let me see what's going on with this 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma. All of you be good. If I can open this shield, it'll give you a piece of snow Ganoderma. The injured earth-shattering ice bear saw that Yun Chujo did not kill its companion. Instead, it jumped to look at the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma. After hesitating for a while, it gritted its teeth and ate the supreme-grade blood coagulation pill. The climate of the chimeric ice field was cold. If it did not stop bleeding, its legs would be crippled. If its legs were crippled, it would be difficult to get food in the future. After a while, it realized that its legs were really not bleeding anymore. It pounced on the bear that was still panting on the ground and cried out excitedly. The other bear also took on its happy mood and cried out weakly. After a while, the bear on the ground regained its strength. The two bears came to Yun Chujo's side and sat down obediently. They drooled as they waited for Yun Chujo to take out the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma and give it to them. And Feng looked at the scene in front of him with a dumbfounded expression. He pinched his own arm and grimaced in pain. Did they not say that demon beasts and humans were like fire and water? Why was Miss Jo always able to make peace with these demon beasts? The three-tailed fox king who shamelessly wanted to recognize her as its master, the mighty elephant who helped her before, and these two were bought over by a blood coagulation pill? Aren't you guys a little too bold? You dare to eat the pill that humans gave you? Aren't you afraid that it's poison? Besides, are you guys that superstitious and confident in Miss Jo? You didn't manage to break the barrier. But you think she can? As expected, they're just two stupid bears. And Feng was cursing in his heart when Yun Chujo waved at him. Little madman, come here. This thing is interesting. Chapter 700. Big Bear and Bear 2 and Feng ran over curiously and reached out to touch it. As expected, it was blocked by an invisible barrier. Little madman, do you think there's a formation here, or has this 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma become a spirit? Yun Chujo asked curiously. If this 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma has intelligence, it should be able to hide or escape. They wouldn't have the ability to form a spiritual energy barrier. Most likely, after this cluster of snow Ganoderma was discovered by someone in the past, they probably felt that it wasn't old enough, so they set up a formation to protect it so that it wouldn't be dug up by others, and Feng guessed. You have a point. Since it's an item with an owner, let's not touch it. It's not worth causing unnecessary trouble. Besides, although this 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma is not bad, it's not that delicious. Stewed chicken can't be more delicious than stewed mushrooms. Yun Chujo touched her chin and said. And Feng was speechless. Miss Jo, if you did not add that last sentence, your words would have been very reasonable. However, since you added that sentence, it suddenly became so awkward. Big Bear Bear 2, I'm sorry. I can't get the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma, so I'll give you 2 pills as compensation. See you next time. Yun Chujo threw 2 super-grade explosive spirit pills to the 2 bears and beckoned Enfong to continue walking forward. Yun Chujo and Enfong did not walk far when they heard a roar from behind. The 2 earth-shattering ice bears followed them eagerly. Why are you following us? Go play wherever you want to play. Yun Chujo waved her claws at them. The 2 earth-shattering ice bears cried out a few times. Although Yun Chujo could not understand them, she could guess that the 2 earth-shattering ice bears wanted medicinal pills. Do you want more medicinal pills? The 2 earth-shattering ice bears nodded vigorously. They were lacking an explosive spirit pill, but were in great need of blood coagulation pills. This chimeric ice field was different from other places. There were very few medicinal herbs that could stop bleeding. Only Snow Ganoderma and Crystal Snow Lotus could stop bleeding. However, there were very few of them, and most of them had already been taken by humans. Yun Chujo rolled her eyes. Alright then. I'll hire you as guides. When we leave this ice field, I'll reward you with 2 bottles of blood coagulation pills. How about that? The 2 earth-shattering ice bears agreed happily. Yun Chujo was the kind of person who would take advantage of others, she shamelessly said. In that case, we can be considered partners. I was too tired from jumping just now. Big Bear, can I rest on your back for a while? Big Bear, the earth-shattering ice bear who was exhausted by Yun Chujo just moments ago, nodded. Yun Chujo jumped up and sat on Big Bear's back. Enfong looked at Yun Chujo, who was leisurely eating spirit fruits on the bear's back, and felt that everything in front of him was like a dream. Well, he had never dreamed of such a scene. Was it not strange? Little madman, don't just stand there. Just sit on Bear 2's back. Its legs are already fine. Yun Chujo shouted at Enfong when she saw him standing there like a wooden stake. Enfong finally regained his senses and jumped onto the back of the other ice bear. Little madman, these bears' back isn't bad, right? It's soft and warm. It's like a moving furnace. Tell me, why do I have such an affinity with demon beasts? Sigh, I can't help it. Who asked me to be so good-looking? All living things have an eye for beauty. The 2 earth-shattering ice bears staggered. Damn, there's such a shameless human. You're good-looking. If it wasn't for the hemostatic pill, we wouldn't have bothered with a skinny little weakling like you. Chapter 701. I'll help you get revenge. Enfong was dumbfounded when he heard Yun Chujia's shameless boasting. However, he felt that only Miss Zhou's quick-witted personality would win the trust of the demonic beasts. If it was an ordinary person, they would have killed the 2 earth-shattering ice bears long ago. Why should they give them medicinal pills to treat their injuries? Although demonic beasts were not as complicated as humans, they had the most direct sense of danger. Perhaps they could sense that Miss Zhou did not have any ill intentions toward them, which was why they accepted Miss Zhou so easily. What Yun Chujo and Enfong did not know was that not long after they left, a few itinerant cultivators came. They also discovered the 10,000-year-old Snow Ganoderma. The few of them were extremely excited and kept attacking with their spiritual energy. After several hours, the spiritual energy barrier was finally broken. Just as they were ecstatic and wanted to split up the 10,000-year-old Snow Ganoderma, a wave of poisonous smoke was emitted. The few of them did not expect that there would be an ambush and died on the spot. A layer of spiritual barrier rose around the 10,000-year-old Snow Ganoderma again, as if nothing had happened. Big Bear, do you have any enemies? Bring me to them and see how I can help you get revenge. Yun Chujo lay on Big Bear's back for a while, and felt that she could not be content with enjoying herself. She still needed to find high-level demonic beasts to train with. Big Bear immediately ran happily and brought Yun Chujo to its enemy. That's great. My wife's leg was bitten by those giant ice wolves. I can bring them to avenge us. Bear 2's eyes were also burning with anger. It followed Big Bear and ran toward the depths of the icy plains. Yun Chujo got wind of the energy and her mood also became excited. She started howling at the top of her lungs, running with the wind in the direction of freedom, chasing after the power of lightning and thunder. To carry the vast ocean in my chest, even the smallest sail can sail far away. Wen Enfong had never heard such a strange melody before, but he still felt his blood boil. and he could not wait to have a big fight. The two earth-shattering ice bears ran even faster. Their mood the past 2 days was filled with ups and downs. The cave they had dug with great difficulty was occupied by the giant ice wolves, and Bear 2 got injured. After the two bears fled in a sorry state, they finally found a clump of 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma. They did not expect that they would not be able to get their hands on it even after exhausting themselves for half a day. They had already lost all hope, but they did not expect the situation to turn out this way. The heavens were really fair. The two earth-shattering ice bears carried Yunchujo and Enfeng and ran for more than 6 hours before they finally stopped. Yunchujo asked the two earth-shattering ice bears, "Are you not far from your enemy?" The two earth-shattering ice bears nodded and pointed at a short cliff in the distance with their huge paws, indicating that it was the enemy's base camp. Yunchujo looked at the sky. The sun was about to set, so she said, "Let's find a place to rest first. We'll get revenge tomorrow during the day." The two earth-shattering ice bears naturally had no objections. They carried the two of them to a small slope that was sheltered from the wind. The next morning, Yunchujo stretched her body in a refreshed manner. Last night was the most comfortable sleep I've had." The corner of Enfeng's eyes twitched. He had asked the two earth-shattering ice bears to block the wind and snow outside and lit a bonfire. Of course, it was very comfortable. After breakfast, the two earth-shattering ice bears carried Yunchujo and Enfeng and ran toward the low cliff. Chapter 702. Ice Wolves. Just as Yunchujo and the others approached the short cliff, a group of ice wolves pounced toward them ferociously. The ice wolves were Tier 7 demonic beasts, but they lived in groups. There were 12 of them in this group. No wonder the two bears were at a disadvantage. The Wolf King was much larger than the other ice wolves. It stared fiercely at Yunchujo and the others, revealing a trace of disdain. These two stupid bears actually found 2 human helpers. Could it be that they actually recognized a human as their master for revenge? Ha ha ha, that's extremely stupid. You gave up the freedom of being a demonic beast for revenge. Moreover, you've chosen a powerful person as your master, but you actually chose these two trash at the 2nd level of the spirit cultivator realm. You really are 2 stupid bears. Yunchujo saw the expression of the Wolf King and curled her lips. She waved her claws and said, "All of you watch the battle from behind. I want to fight a pack of wolves alone." The two earth-shattering ice bears thought that the little human had gone mad. "Although you're quite agile, there are 12 wolves. Can you do it?" Enfeng was not very worried, but he was still a little uncertain. The demon beasts on the chimeric ice field were much stronger than those in other places. Although ice wolves were 7th grade demon beasts, they were equivalent to Tier 8 demon beasts in the demon beast forest. It was still a little difficult for Miss Jo to deal with 12 by herself. However, if she was not a match for them, it would not be too late for him and the two earth-shattering ice bears to attack. The Wolf King saw that Yunchujo wanted to fight with them alone, and the expression on its face became even more disdainful. No wonder it took those 2 stupid bears as its spiritual pets. Turned out that it was also brainless. The Wolf King roared twice, and the pack of wolves pounced toward Yunchujo. Yunchujo repeatedly waved her hand while dodging the attacks of the pack of wolves, as several bolts of purple lightning charged toward the pack of wolves. The pack of wolves immediately became chaotic. They had never seen a cultivator who could release purple lightning, and they were instinctively somewhat afraid of the power of lightning. The two earth-shattering ice bears were also dumbfounded. Heavens, this little human actually uses heavenly lightning. It's really too terrifying. They felt extremely fortunate in their hearts. Fortunately, we did not go against this little human. Otherwise, we would definitely die. Haha, these giant ice wolves are dead for sure. They actually dared to rob our cave. Let's see how you guys are going to show off this time. The Wolf King was stunned at first. Then it joined the battle group. This human is so strange. It's best to end the battle as soon as possible. Good timing. I can use you guys as practice. Little Joe Thunder and Lightning. Yunchujo dodged nimbly, and lightning struck the giant ice wolf continuously. Enfeng nodded silently. It seemed that Miss Jo's skills were still effective. At the very least, she was very agile in dodging the ice arrows. The Wolf King saw that it could not attack for a long time, and it gradually became a little impatient. It kept roaring, urging the pack of wolves to get close and bite Yunchujo. Yun Chujo rolled her eyes. If I want to catch a thief, I'll first catch the leader. I'll kill this Wolf King first. Yun Chujo shot a bolt of lightning at the Wolf King. It quickly jumped to the side and dodged Yun Chujo's lightning. It shot a few ice arrows at Yun Chujo. After Yun Chujo dodged the ice arrows, she shot a few more bolts of lightning at the Wolf King. It dodged extremely pathetically. It howled and urged the other giant ice wolves to attack Yun Chujo. In order to avoid the attacks of the other giant ice wolves, Yun Chujo had no choice but to temporarily stop her attacks on the Wolf King. Yun Chujo thought to herself, I can't go on like this. My stamina is limited. If I drag this out for too long, these giant ice wolves will gain the upper hand. I have to think of something. Chapter 703. The monster in the lake. Yun Chujo had already talked big just now, so she was naturally embarrassed to let Enfeng and others help her. However, she had a lot of hidden weapons on her. She found the opportunity and suddenly took out 2 large sacks and threw them at the wolf pack. The wolf pack did not know what it was, so they quickly jumped to the side. Boom! The chili powder inside dispersed in all directions. These giant ice wolves had never seen chili powder before, so the pungent smell immediately made them cry. Yun Chujo took this opportunity to throw a few lightning bolts at the Wolf King. The Wolf King screamed and fell to the ground. Without the command of the king, these giant ice wolves were like loose sand. Soon they were all killed by Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo followed the principle of not wasting anything. She put the chili powder and the corpses of these giant ice wolves into her storage bag. Just as she was about to boast a little, she saw 2 earth-shattering ice bears with blank faces. They were all dumbfounded. What was that human throwing out just now? It was too magical. It was so powerful. It must be a newly developed human poison. It was too terrifying. If Yun Chujo knew what they were thinking, she would probably burst out laughing. However, what this fellow was thinking was that chimeric ice plane was not as mysterious as it was described. Although the demonic beasts were a little more ferocious than the other places, it was just that. Why did the stone tablet outside make it sound so serious? Big Bear, Bear 2, carry us forward. The 2 earth-shattering ice bears had mixed feelings. There was gratitude, fear, and a hint of excitement. This little human was so cruel. If he killed all their enemies, would they not be the overlords of this area in the future? Ha ha, their good luck had come. The deeper they went, the colder the temperature was. Fortunately, Yun Chujo and Enfeng were on the back of the earth-shattering ice bear, so they could endure it. However, the plants on the ground were becoming sparse, and low-level herbivorous demonic beasts were few and far in between. Yun Chujo suddenly exclaimed, Heavens! Little madman, look ahead. Is that a big lake? How can there be a big lake in this icy plain? And it's a big lake that doesn't freeze? Enfeng also saw the sparkling lake in front of him, and he was very surprised. The temperature there was so low. How was it that the lake did not freeze over? The 2 earth-shattering ice bears did not think it was unusual. They were extremely familiar with this place and naturally knew that there was an ice lake there. The 2 earth-shattering ice bears walked to an area about 30 feet away from the ice lake and stopped walking. They cried out a few times and their huge claws indicated to Yun Chujo that they should go around the ice lake and continue moving forward. Yun Chujo was stunned. It was understandable to do so. However, why did the 2 earth-shattering ice bears seem to be afraid of the lake? Could it be that there were powerful demonic beasts in the ice lake? Big Bear, are there powerful demon beasts in the ice lake? The earth-shattering ice bear nodded and showed a terrified expression. Yun Chujo was not afraid of big things. She took out a big rock from her storage ring and threw it in the lake. Enfeng was really speechless. Miss Joe's storage ring is truly all-encompassing. It even had a rock. I'm impressed. After the stone fell into the lake, there was no reaction. Yun Chujo blinked her eyes and threw the body of a giant ice wolf into the lake. Then she saw a huge monster appear in the middle of the lake. Chapter 704. Scarlet Poison Frog. Yun Chujo's eyes widened in surprise. This demonic beast grew a bit too much, didn't it? The gigantic demonic beast was covered in huge lumps. It was a gigantic toad. Little madman, what kind of demonic beast is this? Its appearance is so ugly. This is a Tier 12 Scarlet Poison Frog, equivalent to the 6th level of the Spirit Emperor realm. It's really strange. Scarlet poison frogs normally live in hot springs. Why would it appear in the chimeric ice field? What's so strange about that? The hot springs are probably right under the ice lake. Otherwise, why wouldn't the lake freeze over? 12th level. This is quite a challenge. However, there's no chance of winning unless it's lured to the shore. Yun Chujo blinked her eyes and said. The two earth-shattering ice bears were about to cry. Oh my god. Why did you provoke that toad for no reason? Aren't you looking for trouble? They usually hid far away, afraid of being targeted by that ugly monster. The water arrows it shot out were extremely poisonous. And Feng also frowned. Why do you have to put yourself in danger? Let's go around and find other demon beasts to practice with. Yun Chujo waved her claws. Only an opponent with a huge gap between us can stimulate my potential. I'm not afraid even if I'm hit by its poisonous arrows. Besides, if I really can't do it, I still have you guys. I don't believe that we can't defeat one of them with so many of us. This hot spring looks pretty good. There might be some heavenly and earthly treasures inside. Otherwise, why would this ugly monster occupy this place? And Feng touched his nose. Alright, the last sentence was telling. Young master, the risk is still too great. It's okay. If it really doesn't work, well run. This toad definitely can't stand such cold weather. The key now is how to lure it ashore. Yun Chujo rolled her eyes and thought of a way. Yun Chujo threw the body of a giant ice wolf not far from the shore, hoping to lure the scarlet poison frog out of the lake. As expected, the scarlet poison frog swam to the shore. However, it stuck out its long tongue and dragged the body of the giant ice wolf into the lake. Yun Chujo had no choice but to place the body of the giant ice wolf further away. The giant eyeball of the scarlet poison frog turned around and actually shrank back into the water again. It did not go ashore to hunt. Yun Chujo thought to herself. This high-level demon beast is indeed much smarter than the low-level demon beasts. If it did not fall for the trap, I wouldn't be able to kill it at all. How can I trick it to come ashore? Just as Yun Chujo was frowning, the strange grass in her dantian hooked its leaves. The two earth-shattering ice bears suddenly smelled a strange fragrance. They looked at Yun Chujo and drooled. Yun Chujo was stunned. At this moment, she heard the sound of water splashing. The huge scarlet poison frog suddenly jumped onto the shore and pounced toward Yun Chujo. The two ice bears were immediately frightened and ran away with their heads in their hands. Yun Chujo and Enfeng dodged to the side and dodged the frog's tongue. Yun Chujo rolled her eyes and turned around to run. She had to take this opportunity to lure the scarlet poison frog as far away as possible. After a long time, it would not be able to withstand the cold, its fighting strength would decrease. The smell of the strange grass was extremely attractive to the scarlet poison frog. At that moment, there was only one thought in its mind, and that was to eat the human in front of it. The scarlet poison frog shot several poisonous arrows at Yun Chujo, who was running in front of it. Yun Chujo seemed to have eyes on her back and dodged the poisonous arrows in a flash. Yun Chujo kept dodging until she felt that the distance was close enough, and then she stopped running. Chapter 705. Strange grass favorite poison. Yun Chujo was afraid that she would attract other demonic beasts, so she quickly stopped strange grass from releasing its scent. The scarlet poison frog suddenly became aware. It realized that it was far away from the ice lake. It did not have the time to attack Yun Chujo, so it turned around and ran back. Little brat, since I got you out, you still want to run? Dream on. You unethically ugly monster. Is that ice lake yours? You actually took over the public waters. You're absolutely shameless. Yun Chujo said as she fired several bolts of lightning at the frog. It was startled by the purple lightning, but its eyes immediately revealed a vicious glint. A second-level spirit cultivator actually tried to kill me. That's just wishful thinking. Even if I'm not used to the climate of the ice plains, I can still kill you without a problem. The scarlet poison frog shot out its poisonous arrow again. Its poisonous arrow did not come from its mouth, but from the bumps on its body, which were filled with poison. On one hand, the scarlet poison frog used its poisonous arrow to attack Yun Chujo, and on the other hand it stretched out its huge tongue, wanting to swallow Yun Chujo directly into its stomach. Little madman, you don't have to help me first. If I can't deal with it, you can attack. If its poisonous arrows hurt you, you'll be in trouble. and Feng wanted to help, but Yun Chujo quickly stopped him. Although the scarlet poison frog was equivalent to a human at the 6th level of the Spirit Emperor realm, it was not used to the cold weather. At most, it could only display the 3rd level of the Spirit Emperor realm. She could still defeat it if she gave it her all. Yun Chujo dodged the poison arrow and the scarlet poison frog's tongue, while using lightning to strike its body. What made her depressed was that the scarlet poison frog's skin and flesh were extremely tough. Even though a few heavenly lightning bolts had struck it, only a shallow trace was left behind. Yun Chujo frowned. If this continued, it would be extremely disadvantageous to her. The scarlet poison frog basically did not expend much energy, and was able to force her to dodge in all directions. As time passed, her physical strength would be exhausted. She did not know what was the scarlet poison frog's weakness. Could it also be its behind? However, it was too difficult to attack its behind. She might as well try attacking its eyes. As Yun Chujo thought of this, she struck the scarlet poison frog's eyes with lightning. The scarlet poison frog hurriedly dodged. Yun Chujo was delighted. It seemed that the eyes were indeed the weakest part of the scarlet poison frog's body. Therefore, she focused her attack on the eyes of the scarlet poison frog. The scarlet poison frog was very angry. This human seemed to only have the spiritual power of the 2nd level of the spirit cultivator realm. Why could he persist for so long without being defeated? It was really detestable. The scarlet poison frog suddenly opened its mouth and spat out a large amount of poisonous fog. It was very proud. This was its trump card. There was once a purple-ringed double-eyed flood dragon that was about the same level as it in the ice lake. In the end, it relied on this poisonous fog to kill it. This little human was bound to die. The area of the poisonous fog was very large. Even if he could hide, he would not be able to escape. As expected, Yun Chujo inhaled a bit of the poisonous fog. However, the strange grass in her dantian immediately swallowed the poison. Moreover, it urged Yun Chujo to absorb more. It was a good thing. This herb loved these delicious poisons the most. When the scarlet poison frog saw that the human in front of it was not dead but was still breathing in the poisonous fog, as if he was eating something delicious, it was instantly dumbfounded. While the scarlet poison frog was still in a daze, Yun Chujo struck its eyes with lightning. Chapter 706. Fierce battle. While the scarlet poison frog was still in a daze, Yun Chujo successfully attacked it, and the lightning struck the scarlet poison frog's left eye. The scarlet poison frog let out a miserable cry and shot a few poisonous arrows at Yun Chujo. Although the scarlet poison frog hated Yun Chujo in its heart, it knew that it was in a disadvantageous position. The extremely low temperature had slowed down its movements. Moreover, its eye was injured, so it had the intention to retreat. After the scarlet poison frog spat out a few poisonous arrows, it turned around and quickly jumped in the direction of the ice lake. Yun Chujo had spent a lot of effort to lure it out, so she naturally would not let it go back just like that. She chased after it and continuously struck the scarlet poison frog with lightning. However, the scarlet poison frog was determined to retreat back into the ice lake. It actually went all out and let Yun Chujo strike its body with lightning. It was fine as long as it did not hit its eyes. Yun Chujo quickly let the strange grass release its scent again. As expected, the scarlet poison frog started to hesitate. On one hand, it had an extremely alluring scent, and on the other hand, it was a threat to its life. It gritted its teeth and actually resisted the scent of the strange grass, continuing its hop in the direction of the ice lake. Yun Chujo stomped her feet angrily. If she let it return to the ice lake, it would be the same as letting it go. It would have been a waste of effort. "Master, let me out. I will use the voice of enchantment to slow it down," the flaming three-tailed fox king said to Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo was delighted and quickly let it out. The flaming three-tailed fox king jumped to a place where the frog could not attack and roared. The scarlet poison frog was already distracted by the fragrance of the strange grass. Now that it was attacked by the fox king's charm, it was stunned for a moment. Although the time was short, it was enough for Yun Chujo to jump in front of it and block its path. Yun Chujo shot another lightning bolt at the right eye of the scarlet poison frog. Although the scarlet poison frog tried its best to dodge, it was still injured by the lightning bolt. Yun Chujo did not dare to relax. She shot another lightning bolt at its right eye. The scarlet poison frog's vision was damaged and its attack power was greatly reduced. Yun Chujo gradually gained the upper hand and aimed specifically at its 2 eyes. Although the scarlet poison frog's eyes were injured, it desperately shot poison arrows in order to save its life. However, it was already at the end of its tether, and was no longer Yun Chuji's opponent. An hour later, after a fierce battle, the scarlet poison frog finally fell to the ground and died. Yun Chujo put away the scarlet poison frog's corpse, then sat on the ground and panted heavily. This fierce battle was really too exhausting. If it was not to break through her limits, she would not have provoked such a troublesome demon beast no matter what. 2 earth-shattering ice bears ran over from afar. The 2 of them were a little embarrassed that they had run away at the last minute, so they squeaked a few times shyly. Yun Chujo did not mind. These 2 earth-shattering ice bears were not her spiritual beasts, so it was their instinct to seek benefits and avoid harm. There was nothing to blame them for. When the 2 earth-shattering ice bears saw that Yun Chujo had no intention of blaming them, they became even more attentive. And Feng curled his lips. If these 2 guys wagged their tails again, they would really be no different from puppies. Yun Chujo rested for a full hour and finally recovered. She went to the shore of the ice lake again. Although the frog was killed, Yun Chujo still did not dare to be careless. The ice lake was very large, and there might be other demon beasts in it. She threw the corpse of a giant ice wolf into the ice lake, and sure enough, a few demon beasts appeared in the ice lake. They fought and bit each other. However, Yun Chujo took a look and found that the levels of those demon beasts were not very high. Most of them were at Tier 5 and Tier 6, so there was nothing to be afraid of. Only then did Yun Chujo approach the lakeside to carefully observe the lake, and very soon she found something strange. Chapter 707. Diving into the bottom of the lake. This shouldn't be the lake water formed by the hot spring. The current here is very fast. There must be an underground river leading to somewhere. However, there is solid ice that doesn't melt all year round down here. How does it lead to other places? Yun Chujo asked in puzzlement. This is indeed a little strange. However, the scarlet poison frog just now usually lives in the hot spring. If this place isn't formed by the hot spring, how can it survive here? And Feng really did not know much about this. After hearing Yun Chuji's words, he realized that there was something strange about this place. Yun Chujo stretched out her hand to test the temperature of the lake water. It was actually warm water. Yun Chujo rubbed her chin and thought for a moment. Little madman, I want to go into the water to investigate. What? Miss Jo, are you crazy? You don't have a water repellent bead. And there are so many aquatic demon beasts in there. You will definitely die if you go in. And Feng was so anxious that he did not even bother to call her by her fake name. Was this not courting death? I'm just going down to take a look. Besides, the chimeric ice plane itself is full of dangers. If everything goes smoothly, how can it be called training? Yun Chujo began to move her limbs, preparing to go into the water. And Feng saw that Yun Chujo had made up her mind, so he could only say, then I'll go down with you. If anything happens, at least I can take care of you. Yun Chujo nodded. That's fine. However, do you know how to swim? Don't make me save you later. I know how to swim. The corner of Feng's eyes twitched. It's not like something's wrong with my brain. If I don't know how to swim, what's the point of going into the water? Big Bear and Bear 2, you two wait here. We'll come back after we go down and take a look, Yun Chujo said to the 2 earth-shattering ice bears. Unexpectedly, the 2 earth-shattering ice bears jumped into the water with a plop. They were enjoying themselves in the water. They had been drooling over the lake for a long time but were afraid of the scarlet poison frog, so they did not dare to approach it. Now that the scarlet poison frog was dead, they naturally had to enjoy it. Yun Chujo touched her nose. Well, she did not say anything. With them protecting her, the safety factor was even higher. After warming up their limbs, Yun Chujo and Feng jumped into the ice lake. Feng looked at Yun Chuji's awkward paddling posture and his eyes twitched. Miss Jo, do you know how to swim? Why do I feel like you don't know how to swim? It was Yun Chuji's first time swimming since she transmigrated. It was inevitable that her posture was a little rusty. However, after a few tries, She felt like she had returned to her previous life. Moreover, after practicing, her body became more flexible and the interval between her breaths became longer. Very quickly, she swam happily in the lake like a small fish. And Feng was dumbfounded. Could it be that her heavenly spirit root allows her to learn to swim faster than others? Isn't this too much? As there were 2 earth-shattering ice bears by the side, those aquatic demon beasts did not dare to approach Yunchujo and the others, which saved them a lot of trouble. After Yunchujia's swimming skill came back online, she took a deep breath and dived into the water. And Feng also dived into the water. The 2 earth-shattering ice bears did not hold their breath for that long. After trying a few times, they gave up and started to play on the lake. After Yunchujo dived in, she found that the water of the ice lake was very clear. There were lush aquatic plants growing at the bottom of the lake. It was really hard to imagine that there was such a lively paradise in the ice field. Chapter 708. Look at your ugly faces. And Feng no longer hit his cultivation level, and used it to intimidate the observing aquatic demon beasts. When the aquatic demon beasts saw Feng's true cultivation level, they immediately fled in all directions in fear. Yunchujo found that the aquatic plants in some places were more luxuriant, and there were bubbles rising. She swam over and pulled the aquatic plants aside. She saw that there was really a hot spring below, and the spring water was constantly flowing out. Could it be that this lake was really formed by a hot spring? Was her deduction wrong? After Yunchujo surfaced and took a breath, she dived into the water again. This time she made a new discovery. There was a huge whirlpool a few hundred feet away. Yunchujo swam toward the whirlpool. The water temperature around the whirlpool had obviously dropped a lot. It seemed that this was the channel to connect with the outside world. The water around the whirlpool was very fast, so Yunchujo did not dare to get too close. After she surfaced, she swam directly to the other side of the ice lake. And Feng and the 2 earth-shattering ice bears also came ashore. After Yunchujo activated the isolation array, she changed into a set of clothes and used her spiritual power to dry her hair. Then she said to Feng, that whirlpool should be the channel connecting the ice lake and the outside world. However, we don't have a water repellent bead, so we can only have a chance to investigate further. And Feng nodded, but he thought to himself, why do we always have to explore? If it wants to connect to the outside world, then so be it. On the other side of the ice lake was an endless ice field. The 2 earth-shattering ice bears had never been to the other side of the ice lake, so they looked around curiously. After walking for a while, Yunchujo saw that the sky was getting dark. She found a low slope to shelter from the wind and built a bonfire, preparing to spend the night there. Yunchujo took out a large iron pot and started to stew snow rabbit meat with radishes. Soon the fragrance spread. The 2 earth-shattering ice bears had never eaten cooked food before, so they were drooling. Yunchujo looked at them with a funny look. Look at how hungry you are. When it's done, I'll give each of you a pot. When the 2 earth-shattering ice bears heard this, they became extremely flattering. If it were not for their huge bodies, they would have pounced on Yunchujo and acted coquettishly, and Feng could not bear to watch. Although the mighty elephant also listened to Miss Zhou's words, it still had the dignity of a Tier 8 demonic beast. These 2 had already thrown aside their moral integrity. They were simply too shameless. And Feng was cursing in his heart when he frowned. Young master, someone is coming. There are quite a number of people. It seems to be those people from the Goshawk sect. They're not heading in the same direction as us. Why are they here? Yunchujo craned her neck to look. It really was those people from the Goshawk sect. Could it be that they're going in the opposite direction because they want to go around the ice lake? Is their destination in this direction? And Feng guessed. Yunchujo nodded. What you said makes sense. Big Bear, Bear 2, you guys go into my spirit beast pouch first. I will let you out after these people leave. Big Bear and Bear 2 were unwillingly put into Yunchujia's spirit beast pouch. They hated the people of the Goshawk sect to death. If it were not for them, they would have been able to eat delicious stewed meat. Foolish humans. Sooner or later we'll beat you to death. After a moment those people came closer. Yunchujo took a look and saw that they were indeed the people of the Goshawk sect. Lu Qian saw Yunchujo and Feng and was shocked. These two people were clearly walking in a different direction from them. How could they have arrived in the same place? Could it be that they swam there from the ice lake? There were many aquatic demon beasts in the ice lake, especially that scarlet poison frog. That was a tier 12 demon beast. How could they not be eaten? Chapter 709. We swam here. Lu Qian was shocked and felt uncertain. He said with a smile, "Young hero, sure, what a coincidence. I didn't expect to see you again." Yun Chuzhou said indifferently, "Well, it's indeed quite a coincidence. However, didn't you go east?" "To be honest, we went around the ice lake." "How did you two get here?" Lu Qian stared at Yun Chuzhou, not showing any change in his expression. "It's very simple. We swam here." "Why did you have to go so far?" "It would be more convenient to swim here directly," Yun Chuzhou said nonchalantly. Lu Qian was stunned. "Young hero, sure, you didn't encounter any powerful aquatic demonic beasts?" "We didn't. We only encountered a few tier 4 ironbone crocodiles. They saw us avoiding them and we swiftly swam over." "Sect leader Lu, from what you said, it seems like there are powerful aquatic demonic beasts in there? How powerful are they? Are they tier 8 or tier 9? Yun Chuzhou revealed a shocked expression. "I've only heard about it. Since you guys didn't run into them, then the rumors must be wrong. I won't disturb your meal any longer. We'll also find a place to rest." Lu Qian saw that Yun Chuzhou's expression did not seem to be fake. He thought to himself, could it be that these two idiots were so lucky? So they didn't meet the scarlet poison frog? It truly is a fool's fate. Yun Chuzhou nodded. You can't believe the rumors. Sect leader Lu, please go ahead." Lu Qian and his men also lit a bonfire not far away and began to prepare to eat and rest. "Sect leader, those two kids are really lucky. They actually didn't meet the scarlet poison frog. Since they've presented themselves to us, do you want to send them on their way tonight?" Zhang Biao thought of the last barbecue incident, and his eyes revealed a look of hatred. Lu Qian shook his head. "No rush. If they're not going in the same direction as us tomorrow, we should just ignore them to avoid any complications. If they linger around, we can only kill them. We can prevent the news of us getting the treasure from leaking out." Although Zhang Biao was indignant, he did not dare to disobey Lu Qian's words. He could only start preparing dinner. On the other side, Yun Chuzhou and Enfeng were also discussing their next step. "Young master, it seems like the Goshawk sect is looking for treasures in this direction. Should we go back or continue moving forward?" "Of course we should continue moving forward. This chimeric icefield isn't a part of Goshawk sect. If they know what's good for them, then we won't interfere with each other. If they want to court death, then I don't mind sending them on a journey," Yun Chuzhou said indifferently. After these few days of trials, she had more confidence in her combat skills. Moreover, there were 2 earth-shattering ice bears in her spirit beast pouch. And Feng nodded. Even if there was a conflict, those people were nothing to be afraid of. The next day, Yun Chuzhou and Enfeng continued to walk toward the west according to their original plan. Yun Chuzhou muttered as she walked, "Damn it. It's all the fault of those people from the Goshawk sect. Otherwise, I would have let Big Bear carry me on his back." Enfeng's eyes twitched. "It was you who wanted to pretend to be a pig to eat a tiger, alright? If you were willing, you could have gotten Big Bear and Bear 2 out." Behind them, Lu Qian took out a sheepskin scroll map and looked at it. Then he frowned. These two people were walking in the same direction as where they were going. Could it be that they had a treasure map in their hands? That was impossible. When that person gave him the map, he said that it was the only one. Could it be a coincidence? Chapter 710. Simply too awesome, wasn't it? Lu Qian secretly shook his head. Perhaps it's just a coincidence? However, since the two of you are courting death, then don't blame me. I'll find an opportunity to send you on your way. Young master, they've been following behind us all this time. Could it be that they're trying to harm us? And Feng whispered. Maybe we accidentally went in the same direction as where they're going. TSK, people who are really blessed don't need to look for these things. It's probably because that treasure is guiding me to take it. Let's go. If we can make a small fortune at the same time, it's not bad either. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. And Feng did not have words. Half a day later, the Goshawk sect's people were still following Yun Chujio and the others. Sect leader, it seems that they are also here to search for treasures. Should I chase after them and kill them? Zhang Biao said fiercely. There's no rush. Let's see what the situation is. They won't be able to escape from us anyway, Lu Qian said with a cold smile. Sect leader Lu, I don't think we need to do anything. Look, they're in trouble. An old man with a goatee said. Lu Qian looked up and saw that the two people in front of him were surrounded by 5 Tier 8 giant frost lions. He could not help but let out a cold smile. These two people were most likely hiding their strength. Let's see how you will deal with them this time. Thinking of this, Lu Qian waved his hand at the crowd, indicating for them to rest on the spot for the time being. The Goshawk sect people sat down on the spot and watched Yun Chujio and Enfeng, who were surrounded by the lions. Enfeng was about to make a move when Yun Chujio gave him a look. Then, she smiled at one of the largest frost lions and said, Hey brother lion, can we discuss something? The giant frost lion was stunned for a moment. It was the first time it had met a human who did not play by the rules. Discuss? What was there to discuss? However, these two weaklings would not be able to escape anyway. There was no harm in listening to what he had to say. Therefore, the giant frost lion let out a low cry. The other 4 lions also halted their actions and stared at Yun Chujio with their bowl-sized eyes. As you can see, we don't have much meat either. It's probably not enough to fill the gaps between your teeth after eating us. The people behind us are different. There are 20 of them, enough for you to have a full meal. Yun Chujio secretly pointed at the Goshawk sect and the others behind her. The lion looked in the direction that Yun Chujio pointed at. Sure enough, there was a group of people sitting on the ground behind them. It rolled its eyes and thought to itself, it's the same if I bite you to death before eating them. Why do we have to let go of 2 pieces of meat that are close to our mouths? Yun Chujio continued, of course, we can't mistreat brother lion. I have the bodies of 2 giant ice wolves here. Can I use them to exchange for our lives? They have much more meat than us, and they even have inner cores. The giant frost lion was a little tempted. The body of a giant ice wolf truly had much more meat than these 2 weak chickens, and it could even eat inner cores. However, it seemed a little unwilling to let these 2 humans go just like that. Brother lion, even if you eat us, it will still be a waste of energy, right? It will be difficult for you to deal with the people behind you. Why don't you just take the 2 giant ice wolves for free and save some energy? This is such a good deal. Also, let me tell you, there are a few fatties in the group behind you. It will definitely be enough for you to have a good meal. Yun Chujio said with a smile. She was secretly happy. This move of mine is simply too good, right? Chapter 7:11. Will make you suffer. The giant frost lion chief thought for a moment and felt that it was a good deal. So it nodded and agreed to Yun Chujio's conditions. Yun Chujio immediately threw out the 2 corpses of the giant ice wolves and gave Enfeng a look. The 2 of them jumped up and flew away quickly. Enfeng lit a candle in his heart as he ran. TSK, you guys are asking for death if you want to get your hands on Miss Jo. The 9th Miss did not even need to make a move herself. She could just move her mouth and a beast would take revenge for her. Although the 5 giant frost lions could not kill those people, they would still make things difficult for them. When he first saw the 9th Miss put away the bodies of the giant ice wolves, he thought it was pointless at first. He did not expect it to end up being so useful. It could lure scarlet poison frogs and even be used as payment to higher beasts. It was like killing multiple birds with one arrow. Enfeng was completely impressed by Yun Chujio. But Lu Qian and the others were dumbfounded. Who could tell them the reason why the 5 giant frost lions did not chase after the 2 people but pounced on them instead? The 5 giant frost lions pounced in front of Lu Qian and the others. They realized that they could not beat them, but they could not let their new prey slip away. They had to kill a few weak ones first. Therefore, both sides engaged in a chaotic battle. At that moment, Yun Chujio stood on a small slope and enjoyed the show. Little brats, you dare to provoke me? I'll make you pay for it. The 5 giant frost lions were defeated very quickly. They unwillingly ran back to the place where they came from and dragged the 2 giant frost wolves' corpses along. To preserve their strength, Lu Qian and the others did not chase after them. The old man with the goatee said angrily, "Those 2 people are cunning. They used the demon beast's corpses to stall for time and then escaped. We are the unlucky ones. However, this also shows that although they hid their strength, their actual spiritual power is not that high. Otherwise, they would not have escaped, said the other old man with the triangular eyes. Lu Qian nodded. In that case, we will soon reach the point marked on the map. We will find an opportunity to kill them. Seeing that Lu Qian and the others had gotten rid of the giant frost lions, Yun Chuzhou hopped and continued to walk forward. Little madman, what kind of treasure do you think they're looking for? Who would hide the treasure in this chimeric ice field? And Feng shook his head. I'm not sure, but it seems like the Goshawk sect is very sure that they will find something here. Maybe there really is treasure somewhere nearby. Yun Chuzhou nodded and continued to hop forward. As she walked, she muttered, but this is an endless field of ice. Who knows where the treasure is buried? Why don't we slow down and follow them? And Feng nodded. The two of them slowed down and found a place to rest. Lu Qian and the others soon caught up to them. Lu Qian asked with a fake smile, "Young hero Shi, why aren't you leaving?" Sect leader Lu, to be honest, our spiritual power can't be compared to yours. If we walk for too long, our spiritual power will be drained quickly. We need to rest for a while. Otherwise, we won't be able to do anything for a while, Yun Chuzhou said helplessly. Hearing Yun Chuzhou's words, Lu Qian was even more certain that the two of them were also here for the treasure. However, how did they find this place? Could it be that they also had a treasure map on them? Lu Qian probed. Young hero Shi, let's not beat around the bush. You are also here for the treasure, aren't you? If that's the case, how about we work together? If we get the treasure, we will split it equally with you, how about it? Chapter 7:12. Something for nothing. Lu Qian stared at Yun Chuzhou, not wanting to miss the slightest change in her expression. Yun Chuzhou sneered, Sect leader Lu, aren't your conditions too unfair? Split equally. There are only 2 of us, but there are 20 of you. Without you, we could still find the treasure. Why would we cooperate with you and lose out? Zhang Biao heard Yun Chuzhou's words and was instantly enraged. You little brat, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Don't push your luck, I will kill you. Lu Qian snorted in displeasure. Zhang Biao, don't be rude. Young hero Shi, in that case, how should we distribute the treasure if we find it? Lu Qian was not sure if Yun Chuzhou had the map, but when he heard Yun Chuzhou say that she had the confidence, his heart beat faster. Could it be that he really had the map? Where did he get his map from? Could it be that the person gave it to him? No, he had to trick him. Yun Chuzhou blinked her eyes. Of course it's 50-50. The treasure is split into 2, and our 2 families will split it in half. If you agree to that, we'll work together. If you don't, then we'll find it ourselves. The Goshawk sect people sneered. They felt that this kid was really arrogant. What right did he have to split it equally with them? It was a fool's dream. Unexpectedly, Lu Qian smiled and said, if that's the case, I'll agree with young hero Shi. After young hero Shi has rested enough, we'll go together. How about it? Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. Sect leader Lu is indeed a straightforward person. I've rested enough. Let's hurry up and set out. Lu Qian nodded and glanced at the people from the Goshawk sect, indicating that they should not act rashly. And Feng thought to himself that he would never be able to match up to Miss Zhou's ability to make up lies in his next life. This made it sound like she was really there to look for treasures. However, weren't you afraid that you would be exposed if you went with these people? And Feng's worries were unnecessary because Yun Chuzhou, this habitual liar, was capable of making any lie seem like the truth. Sect leader Lu, if I knew that we had the same goal, I would have persuaded you to come with us when we first met. You guys took such a long detour, it's such a waste of energy. Yun Chuzhou said with a seemingly heartless smile. Yes, but it's not too late now. If we work together, we will definitely be able to find the treasure. I wonder if young hero Shi's map could be borrowed from Lu Qian? Lu Qian said with a smile, but his eyes were fixed on Yun Chuzhou. And Feng's heart tightened. This time it was most likely going to be exposed. Unexpectedly, Yun Chuzhou spread her hands. To tell you the truth, I destroyed the map after I memorized it. Safer this way. Lend me your map. I'll show you where it's different. Lu Qian hesitated for a moment, but he thought that since the two of them could not escape from his grasp, it would not hurt to let him take a look. Perhaps he might find something new. Lu Qian handed the sheepskin map to Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou took it and looked at it carefully, then she showed a shocked and angry expression. God! Our map is the same. I spent a lot of money to get the map back then, and the person who sold it to me told me that it was the only copy. I didn't expect that I would fall for it. And Feng did not show it on his face, but the admiration in his heart for Yun Chuzhou was like a torrential river. Miss Zhou had a photographic memory. Although she had only looked at the map for a short while, she must have already memorized it. This was the definition of getting something for nothing. Chapter 7:13. The red spider lily jade token has reappeared. Lu Qian's heart trembled when he heard Yun Chuzhou's words. Young hero, sure, don't be angry. It's hard to know the seller's true intentions. I wonder what material that map was made of? Was it also made of sheepskin? Yun Chuzhou shook her head. That's not it. It was drawn on a jade slip. I destroyed it after I memorized it. Lu Qian became suspicious when he heard Yun Chuzhou's words. The person who gave him the sheepskin map clearly said that there was only one copy of the map. Why would there be a jade slip? Could it be that this Shiling was lying? However, if he did not have the map, he would not have been able to find this place. Could it be that the person thought that he would not be able to complete the mission, so he found someone else's backup? Young hero, sure. May I know what the person who sold you the jade slip looks like? Lu Qian brought Yun Chuzhou to the side and asked in a low voice. Yun Chuzhou thought to herself she was fucking spouting nonsense. How would she know what he looked like? She spouted more nonsense. That person was wearing a mask. I did not see what he looked like, but there was a jade token hanging on his waist. There were strange patterns drawn on it, so I did not see it clearly. Lu Qian's expression changed. Yun Chuzhou noticed and she immediately revealed a shocked expression. Sect leader Lu, could it be that your goatskin map was also bought from that person? Lu Qian hesitated for a moment. When he thought about it, sooner or later this Shiling would die, so there was no harm in talking about it. Thus he said in a low voice, that's right. The person who gave me the map was exactly the same as you said. However, I saw that the jade plate on that person's waist seemed to draw the pattern of the red spider lily. Yun Chuzhou slapped her thigh. Oh my god. Now that you mention it, it really is the red spider lily. That scoundrel. I didn't expect him to lie to the two of us. Lu Qian felt a little uneasy. That person had promised him that as long as he found the treasure and gave it to that person would be able to elevate the Goshawk sect into a super sect that surpassed the 4 great sections. Moreover, he had consumed the medicinal pill that person had given him, and his spiritual power had indeed increased by 2 levels immediately. However, after hearing what Shiling said, it seemed that person did not trust him. If he had trusted him, he would not have sent this young man to search for treasure as well. What was the reason for that person to go through all this? Young hero, sure. I wonder what else that person said when he sold you the jade slip? Yun Chuzhou's heart skipped a beat. It was not easy to answer this question, as it might arouse the old man's suspicion. She wanted to say something specious, so she said, he said that he would appear after I obtained the item, and that he would give me a surprise. Tui. If I obtained the treasure inside, what else would I want from him? However, I now suspect that he was toying with me and cheating me of my spirit stones. Lu Qian frowned. He really could not understand what that person meant. Not only did this Shiling have low spiritual power, but he also did not have any hints of shrewdness. Why did that person want to sell the map to him? Lu Qian's brain was hurting from thinking. He also could not understand that person's intention. How would he know that Yun Chuzhou was purely acting? Even if he racked his brain, he still could not understand it. While Lu Qian was bewildered, Yun Chuzhou's heart was also in turmoil. The last time, the fake master of the League of Assassins had a jade token with the red spider lily pattern engraved on it. She had never found any clues about it. She had not expected that she would discover this matter by accident. Although Lu Qian didn't say it, that person would not give him the map for no reason. It was likely that he was plotting something with the treasure. Could it be related to the Eye of the Earth? Chapter 714. The sun on the map. Yun Chujio was puzzled. If the treasure were related to the eye of the earth, why did that person not come and personally look for it? Or did he send his own people to find it? Why did he ask the Goshawk sect to find it for him? Yun Chujio thought about it for 3 reasons. First, it was inconvenient for that person to come personally. Moreover, he didn't have his own power at the moment, so he could only use the Goshawk sect to complete it. Second, it was extremely dangerous there. Most likely it would be a disaster. That person didn't want to put himself in danger. Third, that person wasn't sure what was inside. He wasn't even sure if the map was real or fake, so it was not worth putting himself at risk. Since that was the case, should she continue to follow them to search for treasures? Yun Chujio thought about it, then gritted her teeth and decided to keep going. She had to go. If she wanted to find the person who hired assassins to kill her, she had to start with the jade token of the red spider lily. Moreover, the faction that had the jade token of the red spider lily had a big plan. If they were to find the eye of the earth, they would destroy the Azure Mystic continent. Although she was not a person with a strong sense of justice, she had to stop them for the people she cared about. Yun Chujio and Lu Qian both had their own thoughts. However, both of them were very good at acting. On the surface, they were still talking and laughing. Everyone followed the map and soon found the place marked on the map. This was a mountain peak covered in snow that was not very high. The Goshawk sect's people searched for a long time but did not find anything special there. Where was the treasure hidden? Lu Qian took out the sheepskin map and looked at it again and again. It was indeed here, but where would he start looking? Young Hiroshire, did you find anything? Lu Qian had no choice but to ask Yun Chujio. Sect leader Lu, I wonder if you have found that there is a picture of the sun on the top of this map? Yun Chujio asked with a smile. Lu Qian was stunned. He quickly looked at the sheepskin map in his hand. Sure enough, there was a ball of the sun on the upper right side of the map. Young Hiroshire, could the sun be pointing to something? Yun Chujio giggled. I'm just guessing. Think about it. Why would he draw a sun on a map? It's not a drawing. Lu Qian nodded. Young Hiroshire, what you said makes sense. Then what exactly does the sun mean? If I'm not wrong, it should mean that this mountain appears differently at a specific time. Only then can we find the place where the treasure is hidden. Looking at the position of the sun, it should be 3 o'clock in the morning. Yun Chujio looked at the sun on the map and said. Zhang Biao scoffed, what nonsense. I've never heard of a specific time for treasure hunting. Lu Qian glared at Zhang Biao unhappily. Don't be rude. I think what young Hiroshire said makes sense. If you still can't find any traps, well, wait until 3 in the morning tomorrow. Zhang Biao angrily continued to lead his people around the mountain to search for clues. Unfortunately, they had already combed the entire mountain and could not find any useful clues. Everyone could not help but feel a little discouraged. They could only set up camp on the spot and hoped a clue would appear at the specific time the next day. Yun Chujio found an opportunity to explain the situation to Enfeng. Enfeng was also very surprised. Miss Zhou, we don't know anything about what might be waiting inside. Are you really determined to go in? Yes. If the thing inside is really related to the eye of the earth, it must not fall into the wrong hands. We must get to it first, Yun Chujio said firmly. Chapter 715. Shifting Mountain Peak. Enfeng saw that Yun Chujio had made up her mind, so he could not persuade her anymore. After entering, he could only act according to the situation. The next day, everyone waited for the clock to strike 3. Zhang Biao curled his lips and said, Humph, you're deliberately stalling. I've never heard of a specific time for treasure hunting since I was young. It's almost 3 o'clock. If nothing happens, I'll smack you to death. Some people echoed the sentiment. That's right. You're spouting nonsense. You can tell that it's already midnight just by looking at the sun pattern? Do you think you can predict it? Lu Qian glanced at them unhappily. Zhang Biao and the person who spoke shut their mouths embarrassedly. However, they were calculating in their hearts. If there were no clues when it was already midnight, then they would take the opportunity to kill this brat. Very soon it was already midnight. Everyone's gaze focused on the mountain peak as they hoped to find a clue. However, they were quickly disappointed. This mountain peak did not seem to be any different from before. Zhang Biao smiled sinisterly. Smelly brat, are you playing us for fools? Master Zhang will cripple you today. Lu Qian frowned. Just as he was about to stop him, he heard a few people jeering. Sect leader, this brat is extremely arrogant. Let Zhang Biao teach him a good lesson. Lu Qian's eyes flickered. He had never seen Shiling make a move before. He could take this opportunity to see how strong he was. If he was no match for him, he could just make a move to protect his life. Seeing that Lu Qian did not speak, Zhang Biao reached out his palm and swung at Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou dodged Zhang Biao's attack and sneered. Sect leader Lu, don't you want to go in and search for the treasure? Lu Qian's heart skipped a beat and quickly stopped Zhang Biao. Young hero, sure, did you find anything? Don't be too bothered with them. They are all boorish and only want to spar with each other. There is no malice in them. Zhang Biao, stand down. Zhang Biao unwillingly withdrew his hand and gave Yun Chuzhou a fierce look. He thought to himself, if you find any clues, I will let you off temporarily. If you are deliberately bluffing, I will kill you then. Yun Chuzhou did not even look at him. Such a clown was not worth taking too seriously. She jumped up the mountain peak and walked to the part that was illuminated by the sunlight. She pushed aside the snow and carefully examined it. The Goshawk sect group initially still had hope. An hour later, when they saw that Yun Chuzhou still did not find anything, they could not help but sneer. It seemed that this stone spirit was just stalling for time. They wanted to see how long he could stall for. Lu Qian frowned. Just as he was about to say something, he heard a loud rumble. The entire mountain peak had strangely shifted, revealing a deep cave. Everyone was stunned. Firstly, they did not expect that Yun Chuzhou had actually found the mechanism. Secondly, that the entire mountain had moved. The person who created this mechanism must have been incredibly powerful, right? Yun Chuzhou jumped down from the mountain peak and patted the remaining snow off her hands. Then she said to Lu Qian, Sect leader Lu, shall we all go down together? Or should we each leave someone outside to guard the entrance? Lu Qian rolled his eyes and thought to himself, if we leave one person outside, it would make people worried. Therefore, he smiled and said, if we want to make a fortune, let's all go down together. Yun Chuzhou nodded. In that case, let's go down. Sect leader Lu, please. Lu Qian's eyes flickered. Who knew what dangers were down there? He did not want to be a sacrificial lamb. Hence, he said, young hero, sure, you have contributed greatly to finding the entrance. You should go first. Chapter 7:16. Sea wave decoration. Yun Chuzhou smiled and walked to the cave. She looked inside and saw a stone staircase leading down. Yun Chuzhou took out the illuminating pearl to illuminate the cave and climbed down the stone staircase. And Feng followed her down as well. Lu Qian saw the illuminating pearl that Yun Chuzhou was holding and his heart skipped a beat. It seemed that this stone spirit's family was indeed very rich. Could it be that that person was trying to cheat him of his money? Even if he was trying to cheat him of his money, he wouldn't have given him a real map. Couldn't he just randomly make up a fake one? At this moment, Lu Qian's thoughts had already been deeply misled by Yun Chuzhou. He had seriously gone astray. When Yun Chuzhou reached the bottom of the stone stairs, she realized that there were green stone slabs under her feet. On both sides of the stone walls and the green stone slabs under her feet were drawings of waves. Yun Chuzhou was a little dumbfounded. They were in an ice field, why were there drawings of waves here? Could it be that this place was not an ice field but a sea? Lu Qian and the people from the Goshawk sect also climbed down. At the moment when everyone reached the bottom, there was a loud rumble above their heads. The mountain peak entrance had been sealed again. Everyone could not help but cry out in surprise. It was over. The entrance was sealed. How would they get out? They should have listened to the stone spirit and left a few people outside. Lu Qian also regretted his rash decision earlier. However, now that things had come to this, he could only continue to move forward and look for what that person wanted him to find. After walking through a narrow and long tunnel, a stone door appeared in front of everyone. The stone door was still engraved with the pattern of waves and was emitting a faint blue light. It gave people the illusion that they were at the bottom of the sea. Yun Chuzhou stopped her footsteps and quietly became more vigilant. There might be a formation here, so it was better to be careful. Seeing that Yun Chujo stopped, Zhang Biao cursed unhappily. Go ahead. Why are you standing there? Yun Chujo said disdainfully. Can't you see that the stone door is closed? Naturally, I'm thinking of how to open it. Zhang Biao curled his lips. What a piece of trash. Just push it open. Get lost. Watch Master Zhang open the door. Zhang Biao said as he walked in front of the large stone door. He raised his foot and kicked the stone door. Yun Chujo thought to herself, this is really a fool who wants an early grave. Xian and Feng suddenly retreated and activated the spirit energy shield to protect their bodies. Lu Qian and a few elders also quickly activated the spirit energy shield. When they saw the situation develop, a few Goshawk sect disciples curled their lips disdainfully. They thought to themselves, these people are too timid. It's just a stone door. What kind of powerful mechanism could there possibly be here? Moments later, hundreds of blue water arrows shot out from the stone door. Zhang Biao was instantly turned into Swiss cheese, and two of the Goshawk sect disciples who did not dodge in time were also shot to death. Although some Goshawk sect disciples escaped the disaster, they were also injured by the water arrows. The most terrifying thing was that the water arrows were highly toxic. The injured disciples screamed a few times as they were all poisoned to death. Everyone had horrified expressions on their faces. They did not expect to lose 5 people before they had even found anything. This place was truly extremely dangerous. Just as everyone felt bewildered, the stone door opened on its own. A faint blue light shone out from the inside. It gave off a feeling of mystery mixed with awe. Although it made people feel terrified, a desire to find the truth was also piqued in them. The people of the Goshawk sect who were at the level of the spiritual emperor could still control themselves. However, those disciples who were at the level of a spirit cultivator could not hold back and were eager to walk in. Then, under this floor, wouldn't the wall be filled with people? Lu Qian's clothes were drenched in a cold sweat. His voice trembled as he said, Fairy, we entered this place by mistake. We didn't mean to offend you. Can you let us out? Turning into a fish and being sealed in the stone wall was a fate worse than death. Lu Qian was filled with regret. He hated the person who gave him the sheepskin map. This was not a place with treasure. This was purgatory in the human world. Chapter 7:18. The mermaid let out a laugh that sounded like a silver bell. Entered by mistake? This place is so well hidden. How could you have entered by mistake? Did I kidnap you? This laughter that sounded like a silver bell made everyone's hair stand on end. Lu Qian's eyes flickered. Fairy, to be honest, the reason we were able to enter was because this kid found the mechanism on the mountain peak. We were all led here by him. Lu Qian pointed at Yun Chujo as he spoke. The mermaid looked at Yun Chujo. So it's a little girl. Since you found the mechanism, as a reward you can choose the type of fish you want to become. Tell me, which type of fish do you want to become? Little girl? Lu Qian and the others looked at Yun Chujo in shock. They did not expect that this stone spirit was a woman disguised as a man. Yun Chujo looked at the mermaid with a smile. I'm sorry. I only love eating fish and don't want to turn into one myself. If you want to turn them into fish, then go ahead. I have no objections. When Lu Qian and the others heard her words, they immediately shouted, Fairy, the culprit is her. Please turn her into a fish and let us go. The mermaid woman sneered, Let you go? None of you will escape. Little girl, since you don't want to choose, then turn into a toad-like fish with them. After the mermaid woman said that, she waved her sleeve and the Goshawk sect and Enfeng disappeared in an instant. Only Yun Chujo was standing still. The mermaid was stunned. She waved her sleeves again, but Yun Chujo was still standing there as if nothing had happened. The mermaid smiled charmingly. Yo, this is the first time in tens of thousands of years that someone has resisted my illusion magic. Little girl, how did you do it? Yun Chujo giggled. It's very simple. I simply don't believe that you can turn a person into a fish. Since I don't believe in it, how can I be affected by your illusion? The mermaid was stunned. Initially, she thought that Yun Chujio had a powerful spiritual artifact on her. She did not expect it to be such a simple reason. That's right. An illusion is simply an artificial atmosphere that allows you to be immersed in it. That's why if you did not believe it at all and looked at it with a scrutinizing attitude, you would naturally not fall for it. However, despite it being a simple concept, many people could not tell reality and illusion apart from the other. It was very easy to be immersed in it. The mermaid laughed softly, and her charming laughter gradually turned into a man's deep laughter. Yun Chujio finally saw the real situation in front of her. And Feng and the Goshawk sect members fainted on the ground. There were no seawater or fish on the surrounding stone walls and the floor. They were only drawing some patterns of the sea waves. In front of Yun Chujio was a round platform. A man lay on the round platform. To be precise, it was a man with a human body and a fish tail. 3 huge chains fixed him on the round platform. The man had a pair of deep blue eyes. He was naked and his long ink-like hair was draped over his body. The man was very handsome, yet there was a hint of gloominess mixed in. Yun Chujio's eyes were wide open. Oh my, a handsome fish? If this was to be sold as a portrait, it would definitely be very popular. Little girl, you are the first human who has not been bewitched by my illusion in tens of thousands of years. In that case, I will spare your life. You can stay and accompany me to relieve my boredom. The merman's deep blue eyes flickered with a faint light. If he was virtuous, he would not have punished us merfolk for no reason. Well said. Tian Dao is indeed an old bastard. He is a bastard. Following the merman's words, rumbling thunder sounded above his head. The man could not help but smile bitterly. Little girl, it's fine if you scold him. But if I scold Tian Dao, the heavenly thunder will strike me. It's good that it's here. I've lived long enough, it's better to destroy this place. However, the merman was obviously overthinking. Despite the thunder outside, that place was not affected. Big brother merman, tell me, how did your merfolk offend that old bastard Tian Dao? Yun Chujio was already immune to the thunder, so she did not care about being struck by it. Chapter 720. 10,000-year-old dark steel. Just as the merman was about to speak, he suddenly clutched his head with his hands. It was obvious that he was in great pain. Ah, why can't I remember? My head hurts. Ah, brother merman, don't think about it if you can't remember. Let's talk about something else. Yun Chujio quickly changed the topic when she saw that the merman was in pain. The merman took a while to calm down, then said with a bitter smile, the person who trapped me here must have sealed off a part of my memory. In the beginning, I didn't even remember what I said to you just now. Maybe I only remembered a little after the seal was broken. Brother merman, who trapped you here? Can you still remember that? The merman shook his head. I can't. I've been trapped here for more than 10,000 years. Then how did you survive these 10,000 years? Yun Chujio asked curiously. The merman laughed self-deprecatingly. I don't know what methods the people who trapped me here used. After some time, some corpses of demon beasts and humans would appear on the round platform, and I would eat them. After 1,000 years, there would occasionally be cultivators who would find their way in. No one could resist my illusions, and they were all eaten by me. Yun Chujio's heart moved. Big brother merman, can you let me see those corpses that appeared on their own? A few days ago, a few more people happened to fall in. They're in that corner. Go and see for yourself. The merman pointed to a corner in the west. Yun Chujio jumped over and saw the bodies of 6 people. Yun Chujio saw that the nails of the 6 people were slightly blue, and her heart stirred. She further inspected the bodies before she returned. Brother merman, I'm afraid that you will gradually lose your memory. It's not just the seal. Those people were all poisoned to death. After you eat them, the poison will naturally seep into your body. Over time, your memory will be completely lost. Moreover, the poison will make you lose your mind and even go crazy. The merman was stunned for a moment before he smiled bitterly. The person who trapped me was really cunning. If that's the case, why didn't he just kill me? Could it be that he wanted to torture me? We merfolk have never eaten humans. To survive, I had to become as brutal as those low-level demon beasts. Perhaps this is the person's goal. Not only did he destroy our people, but he also wanted to turn me into a demon. Brother Merman, I see that your spiritual power is quite high. Can't you do anything to this iron chain? Yun Chujo saw that the merman was about to fall into madness again, so she quickly changed the topic. This is a 10,000-year-old dark steel chain. I've tried countless methods over the past 10,000 years, but I still can't get rid of this chain. Only the person with the key can open it, the merman said with a bitter smile. Yun Chujo recalled that the cage that Xue Wuji had trapped her in back then was also made of 10,000-year-old dark steel. It was indeed extremely tough and could not be opened without a key. However, Big Brother Merman, isn't the 10,000-year-old dark steel able to trap spiritual power? Why can you still create illusions and even use them to obtain food? The merman said proudly, our merfolk race cultivates differently from other races. What we cultivate is not spiritual power but elemental energy. Therefore, this 10,000-year-old dark steel cannot trap our elemental energy. Yun Chuji's heart moved. Big Brother Merman, I'm afraid this is the reason why that old bastard Tian Dao sent down the heavenly punishment. He will suppress those who might threaten him. Like how I have the heavenly thunder spirit root in me, so he keeps trying to kill me because of it. Chapter 721. Do you like meat or vegetables? The merman was slightly stunned when he heard Yun Chuji's words. Perhaps what you said makes sense. However, Tian Dao would not use such methods to trap me here. There must be someone else who is doing all this. Brother Merman, don't worry. The truth will be known to the world sooner or later. It's just a matter of time. You must live well. Yun Chujo felt that the Merfolk clan had suffered too much. They were exterminated by an unknown person, and the only one who was still alive was still locked in this place that would never see the light of day. She felt a pang of sympathy in her heart. The merman sighed in disappointment. I'm the only one left in the Merfolk clan, yet I'm trapped here. How can I find out the true culprit? The merman's eyes suddenly lit up. Little girl, why don't you help me find out the truth and avenge me? Yun Chujo spread out her hands. Big Brother Merman, if I had the ability, I would naturally be willing to help you. After all, we are all friends who were suppressed by that old bastard Tian Dao. However, I don't know a thing about your Merfolk clan. Your memories have all been lost, and my spiritual power is low. I'm afraid I won't be able to help you much. Little girl, you only need to help me within the range of your ability. I won't force you. The merman was desperate. He was trapped here and had no way to get out, so he had no choice but to place his hopes on this little girl. Although this little girl's spiritual power was low, she had a heavenly thunder spirit root after all. Moreover, she was very intelligent. Perhaps she could help find the real culprit and take revenge for him. Yun Chujo saw that the merman was speaking so sincerely, so she could not refuse him anymore, so she said, all right, Big Brother Merman. As long as I am able, I will help you find the real murderer. However, you have to give me some clues. Now, other than knowing that the other merfolk were killed by the heavenly thunder, I don't know anything else about them. The merman showed a pained expression. Apparently, he tried hard to recall his memories. After a while, he said, little girl, I only remember that the place where we merfolk lived is a blue sea. Yun Chujo almost laughed out of anger. Aren't you pulling my leg? Of course you merfolk live in the sea. Could you survive in the desert? No. There seem to be many high-level sea beasts in the sea where we lived. There seems to be a mountain by the sea. The merman covered his head again as he said this. His face was full of pain. Brother Merman, if you can't remember, then don't push yourself. When I leave, I'll leave you some non-toxic food. You might be able to slowly recover your memory. Anyway, I'm still weak now, so I can't do anything too taxing. Yun Chujo didn't have anything else on her, but there was plenty to eat. The merman really couldn't remember anything else, so he could only provide the information he spoke of earlier. He continued, my tears are top-grade water-repellent beads. Don't let others find out about you, lest you get into trouble. Yun Chujo touched her nose awkwardly. It seems like he noticed what she was doing earlier after all. However, she was very thick-skinned, so she pretended to not notice and chuckled. Brother Merman, can you use storage rings? How about I put all the food in a storage ring for you? Sure. Thank you very much. Do you like meat or vegetables? How about this, I will give you a combination of meat and vegetables. There are raw food and cooked food. You can eat whatever you like. Yun Chujo threw a few storage rings that had not been refined to the merman. After the merman refined the storage ring, Yun Chujo transferred all kinds of food into the corresponding storage ring. Chapter 722. Can I ask you a question? The merman saw the various kinds of food in the storage bag, and his eyes reddened. His tears fell again. It had been tens of thousands of years, and he had never eaten decent food since then. Although the food the little girl gave him was not what the merfolk were used to, it was already better than what he was forced to live on the entire time. The tears that the merman shed this time were different from the bloody tears from last time. This time they were transparent and round beads. Yun Chujo, being such a shameless person, immediately picked them up. It was a good treasure. She could not waste it. The corner of the merman's eyes twitched. This little girl was greedy. Little girl, our merfolk clan is very rich. I remember that we have a treasure vault. When the man said that, his head started to hurt again. Yun Chujo did not change the topic this time. My goodness, that was critical information. Keep trying to remember. The merman suddenly opened his mouth and spat out a shell. The merman looked at the shell and tears flowed again. Yun Chujo picked up the beads on the ground and counted them in her heart. This one was for the gigolo, this one was for her grandfather, and this one was for her fourth brother. Little girl, this shell should be the key to the treasury. Keep it. If you find the treasures inside will be my payment to you. The merman thought that Yun Chujo would definitely refuse. Just as he was about to say something to persuade her to accept it, he felt the shell disappear from his hand. He saw that the little girl had already swiped the shell and put it in her storage ring as if she were afraid that he would go back on his word. The merman's eyes twitched violently. The little girl's greed was no less than the legendary mythical beast Pai Xiao. She was too greedy. Big brother merman, don't worry. When my spiritual power increases, I will help you find the real culprit. Also, is this 10,000-year-old dark steel really impossible to break? Let me try something. Yun Chujo first struck it with lightning, then used her rolling pin to hammer it. There was not even a single scratch on the chain. Clearly, these attacks were useless against the 10,000-year-old dark steel. It's useless. 10,000-year-old dark steel is extremely hard. Other than having a key to open it, nothing else can break it. The merman sighed and said, "It's that strong? Is it true that nothing can break it? If I had the divine weapon, the divine god axe, I might be able to break it. However, the divine god axe disappeared tens of thousands of years ago. The possibility of finding it is almost impossible. Little girl, you don't have to worry about me. As long as you can help me find the real culprit and avenge our merfolk clan, I am willing to be trapped here forever. I won't have any regrets," said the merman sadly. Yun Chujo giggled and said, "Anything is possible. Before today you didn't expect to meet such a smart human like me, right? So you have to have faith that everything will work out." The merman looked at Yun Chujia's smiling face and couldn't help but feel warmth in his heart. After tens of thousands of years, this little girl was the first person to bring such warmth to his heart. "Brother Merman, I have a question that has been nagging me for some time. Can I ask you about it? You won't be angry, right?" Yun Chujo blinked her eyes and said carefully, "What question?" You have to promise that you won't get angry before I ask." Yun Chujo laughed dryly. The merman smiled. "I won't get angry. Just ask." A moment later, after hearing Yun Chujia's question, the merman's face turned red and his hair stood up on end. Chapter 723. Yun Chujia's question. Yun Chujo laughed dryly when she saw how angry the merman was. Brother Merman, you said you wouldn't be angry, why didn't you keep your word? The merman's face turned red. You little girl, you actually asked such a shameless question. How outrageous. Yun Chujo blinked her eyes. Brother Merman, how is that a shameless question? This is a big problem that concerns the survival of the merfolk. You are the only one left. I have to know how the merfolk reproduce so that I can help you find a partner. Do you want the merfolk to go extinct? The merman was both embarrassed and angry. After a moment of silence, he squeezed out a sentence from between his teeth. We will turn into human form. Yun Chujo let out a long ouch. With a relieved expression she said, That's easy then. When I rescue you in the future, I will introduce you to a girl. Although the offspring you give birth to is of mixed blood, it is still much better than having no offspring. Brother Merman, don't worry. I can tell that your looks and figure are not bad. There will be many girls who don't mind that you are a merman. The merman's face was completely red. For some reason, he felt that it was very embarrassing to be naked in front of this little girl. With a wave of his hand, a sky blue cloak appeared on his body, covering his entire body. Yun Chujo blinked her eyes. Big Brother Merman, so you are deliberately not wearing any clothes? I thought you were only like this because you don't have any clothes. The merman's face was as red as blood. In the sea, the men of the merfolks had always been naked, and the women only covered their chests. Only during important festivals or banquets would they transform into their human form and wear fancy clothes. He was already used to not wearing clothes. Initially he thought nothing of it, but after hearing what the little girl said, why did he feel so uncomfortable? Yun Chujo saw that the merman was so embarrassed that he was about to find a hole to hide in. She cursed in her heart. Oh, why are all the beautiful men in this world so innocent and shy? She changed the topic out of kindness. She pointed at Lu Qian and said, Brother Merman, can you cast your illusion on this person and help me ask him a few questions? The merman could not wait to ease the awkward situation he was in and immediately said, Yes, you can question him yourself. He will see you as a mermaid. Thank you, Brother Merman. Let's begin. The merman made a hand seal. A moment later, Lu Qian opened his eyes on the ground. The first thing he did was to look at his hands and feet. When he realized that he had not turned into a fish, he kept kowtowing to Yun Chujo. Thank you, fairy. Thank you, fairy. Why did you come here? This is your only chance. If you don't tell the truth, I will turn you into a fish again. Benevolent fairy. A masked man asked me to come. He said that if I could help him retrieve something, he would help me increase my spiritual power and make our Goshawk sect a super sect. Even the 4 great sects won't be able to compare to our Goshawk sect when we were done. What did he ask you to retrieve? Yun Chujo curled her lips. This Lu Qian was really ambitious, even bigger than the 4 great sects, and Feng and I alone could destroy his sect of flies. He asked me to find a map. Lu Qian was scared out of his wits and answered whatever he was asked. Map? What map? That man said to find a map, but he didn't say what map it was. Fairy, I'm just following orders. I don't know anything else. Lu Qian kept kowtowing and begging for mercy. The merman saw Yun Chuji's bright smile and his heart warmed. He nodded solemnly. I'll wait for you. Big Brother Merman, you have to keep your word. If you misspeak, you'll be a puppy. Although Yun Chuji's smile was very bright, she sighed in her heart. Big Brother Merman was kept going by the hatred of having his entire clan exterminated. That was why he was able to endure such torment day after day. If it was an ordinary person, they would not be able to live for even a day, let alone 10,000 years. The merman saw a trace of pity in Yun Chuji's eyes. His nose turned sour and he hurriedly began to cast a spell. After creating an illusion, he teleported everyone outside the cave. Chapter 725. And Feng, who wanted to report after a while, Lu Qian and the others woke up. When they saw Yun Chujo standing at the side, they looked confused. They were naturally grateful, but these people were greedy. When they thought of the map in Yun Chujia's hands, they became restless. Lu Qian's expression changed a few times. A great man has to be ruthless. Although you saved me, I must get that map for the sake of our Goshawk sect. Thank you for saving my life, young Hiroshire. Please follow me to our Goshawk sect for a few days and let us host you well. Lu Qian saw Yun Chujia's high spiritual power in the illusion, and felt that these people in front of him might not have a chance of winning. Therefore, he decided to think of a way to kill Yun Chujio after he returned to the Goshawk sect to obtain the map. The merman erased some of their previous memories, so these people still thought that Yun Chujio was a young boy. Yun Chujio pretended to decline the invite a couple times. After a few rounds of humility, she smiled and said, "All right, it just so happens that I'm almost done with the trial. Since sect leader Lu is so kind, I'll go and disturb you for a few days." And Feng was a little confused now. He had a feeling that the Yun Chujio he saw in the underground was not quite the same as what he remembered, but he had clearly seen it with his own eyes. What exactly was going on? Fortunately, Yun Chujio found an opportunity to tell Feng about what had happened. And Feng finally understood. "Young master, what are your plans next?" Yun Chujio smiled slyly. "Of course, it's to lure the snake out of its hole. I want to see who is the one who has the red spider lily jade token." And Feng knew that it was useless to persuade her, so he could only act according to the situation. However, the other thing he was thinking about was the naked handsome fish. Miss Zhou called him Brother Merman. He was also very handsome. Should I tell the Honorable Sir or not? Yun Chujio did not know that Feng was going to secretly report her. She was thinking, since Brother Merman has already established my awesome image, I might as well deepen their impression of me. So she released the 2 earth-shattering ice bears. Lu Qian and the others were shocked. How could 2 Tier 8 earth-shattering ice bears appear out of nowhere? Let me introduce them to you. These are the means of transportation for me and the little madman. Although their levels aren't very high, they're still very useful in the chimeric ice field, Yun Chujio said with a smile. Lu Run saw that the 2 earth-shattering ice bears were acting coquettishly like puppies beside Yun Chujio. He was so shocked that his eyeballs almost fell out. "Young Hiroshire, are these your new spiritual pets?" Lu Qian felt lucky that he did not make a move just now. Otherwise, he might not have been able to defeat Yun Chujio. It was better to return to the Goshawk sect and plan things out. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and said, "Yes, I'm keeping them for fun. It's also really cool when you take them out. If you like them, you can go and catch 2 of them. It's very easy." Lu Qian and the others were dumbfounded. "Are you kidding us?" Simple my asterisk is. Not only were ice bears hard to catch, they were also violent. Some would rather die than be contracted by a human, let alone 2 of them at once. Yun Chujio and Feng sat on the back of the bear happily. The 2 earth-shattering ice bears trode forward happily while Lu Qian and the others chased after them bitterly. When they reached the edge of the ice lake, Lu Qian and the others finally reacted. There were scarlet poison frogs in the ice lake, so Lu Qian said, "Young Hiroshire, let's take a detour. It's said that there are high-level demonic beasts in this lake." Yun Chujio said with a smile, "If you guys are willing to take a detour, then let's do so. Anyway, I'm going through here. Big Bear, Bear 2, swim over." Chapter 726. The secret of the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma. 2 earth-shattering ice bears jumped into the ice lake. Yun Chujio and Feng stood on the back of the bear calmly and leisurely crossed the ice lake. Sect leader Lu, there doesn't seem to be the rumored carpet poison frog in the ice lake. Why don't we go there too? Shan Yanghu said. Lu Qian was afraid that Yun Chujio would leave with the map, so he gritted his teeth and said, "All right, we'll go through it too." Lu Qian and the others swam across the lake with fear in their hearts. They only felt relieved when they reached the shore. It seemed that the frog was just a rumor. There was not even a trace of it. After a night's rest, they found the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma. Oh my god! It's actually a 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma. And it's such a big bunch. Oh my god! How many spirit stones is this worth? We're rich. Lu Qian and the others immediately revealed their greedy looks. They could not find anything in this treasure hunt. If they could dig up the snow Ganoderma and sell it, it would be a considerable income. A few Goshawk sect disciples could not wait to rush forward. Only then did they realize that the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma was protected by a spirit energy barrier. Those few people began to attack the spiritual energy barrier with their spiritual energy, while Shan Yonghu and San Zhaoyan also attacked the spiritual energy barrier together. Yun Chuzhou did not go forward. She always felt that the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma was a little strange, so she just stood at a distance and watched. Lu Qian was afraid that Yun Chuzhou would take the opportunity to escape, so he also stood at the same place and did not move. An hour later, Shan Yonghu and the others finally broke through the spiritual energy barrier and fought to dig up the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma. They did not expect that a puff of poisonous smoke would shoot out from the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma. Those few people all fell to the ground and died. Even Shan Yonghu and San Zhaoyan, who were at the level of Spirit Emperor, did not manage to escape. They died just like that. Everyone was so scared that they quickly retreated far away. After the black smoke dissipated, everything returned to its original appearance. However, the corpses on the ground had strangely disappeared. Yun Chujia's heart stirred. Her brother Merman had once said that there would be the corpses of demonic beasts and humans falling on the round platform every once in a while. So that was how the corpses came about. This 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma was actually bait. It was used to lure food for Big Brother Merman. The person who designed the array formation there was really awesome. Sigh. It seemed that it was not an ordinary task to save Big Brother Merman. The other party was obviously very powerful. Not to mention her, even the gigolo was probably not his match. Lu Qian's entire body was soaked in sweat. If he was not there to monitor the spirit stones, he might have gone to help attack the spiritual energy barrier. He would be dead for sure. The few people around Lu Qian were also extremely fearful. They wanted to preserve their position, so they did not go along with the digging. Otherwise they would definitely die. Now Lu Qian only had 8 people left. 2 of them were hired spirit sovereign realm elders, and the remaining 6 people were all from the Goshawk sect. Everyone set off once again. The atmosphere became much more solemn, and they became even more cautious. That night, Yun Chuzhou sneakily released the 2 earth-shattering ice bears. Big Bear, Bear 2, am leaving this chimeric ice field. This is the blood coagulation pill that I promised you. We'll meet again in the future. Be careful, and don't be discovered by them. Big Bear and Bear 2 rubbed against Yun Chuzhou before disappearing into the night. Their fur and ice field fused into one, and together with the deliberate concealment of their auras, Lu Qian and the others did not notice their departure at all. Chapter 727. Blame merely the next morning. Lu Qian noticed that the 2 earth-shattering ice bears had disappeared. He asked in puzzlement, "Young Hiroshire, where are your 2 earth-shattering ice bears? Sitting on their backs all day is really boring. I plan to stroll around by myself, so I put them into the spirit beast pouch," Yun Chuzhou said indifferently. Lu Qian and the others had looks of envy, jealousy, and hatred on their faces. You don't know your fortune when you have it. How we wish we had such a spirit pet that could be used as a transportation tool. The next few days went smoothly. When they encountered the demonic beasts, Yun Chuzhou naturally hid behind them and let Lu Qian and the others do the work. Although Lu Qian and the others were dissatisfied, they could not say anything since Yun Chuzhou saved their lives. When they arrived at the spirit sapping forest, Lu Qian said in puzzlement, "Young Hiroshire, I wonder if it was normal when you passed through the spirit sapping forest. When we passed by, these spirit sapping vines turned into this half-dead appearance. It's really strange." Yun Chuzhou blinked her eyes. "When we passed by it was also like this. Could it be that these vines aren't like this usually?" As soon as Yun Chuzhou finished her sentence, those vines began to tremble. "That little devil who drank our poison is here again. So scary. This little devil is lying through his teeth. You were clearly the one who sucked all the poison out of our bodies, yet you still pretend to be innocent. It's really too hateful. I really want to beat her to death. Young hero sure. Why are these spirit-sapping vines trembling? Could it be that something has happened? Lu Qian was already scared out of his wits and was panicking. It's nothing. I guess they're more excited when they see someone coming. When we passed by here, nothing happened. I even went up the tree to pick wild fruits to eat. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. A goshawk sect disciple curled his lips. Humph, are you bragging? It's fine if the vines are on the ground. Once they start climbing the tree, they will start absorbing the spiritual power of the people. The light ones would lose their spiritual power, and the heavy ones would lose their lives. How could you dare to go up the tree to pick wild fruits to eat? Yun Chuzhou glanced at him. Then she tapped the ground with the tip of her feet and leaped up a tree with a whoosh, breaking a branch full of red wild fruits. Then she jumped down. See? Nothing happened. There's no such thing as absorbing spiritual power like you said. Lu Qian and the others were dumbfounded. Could it be that this spirit-sapping forest really stopped absorbing spiritual power? The disciple who had mocked Yun Chuzhou earlier saw that Yun Chuzhou was enjoying the sweet fruit and was a little greedy. He imitated Yun Chuzhou and jumped onto a tree. Before he could break the branches of the wild fruit, a spirit-sapping vine next to him tied him tightly to the tree. The vine thought to itself, damn it. I don't dare to mess with that little devil. And do you think I don't dare to mess with you? I can absorb all of your spiritual power and replenish my power. That disciple was so scared that he cried out, Sect Master! Help! Help! Lu Qian was so angry that he gnashed his teeth. Aren't you just looking for trouble for no reason? However, they could not just leave him to die. Everyone used their spiritual power to cut off a part of the vine, and finally save that disciple who already had half his spiritual power absorbed. The disciple glared at Yun Chuzhou fiercely. Yun Chuzhou spread out her hands and said, It's not like I asked you to climb the tree. You're the one who's greedy. Are you blaming me? The disciple was already a little weak after losing half of his spiritual power. After being angered by Yun Chuzhou, he choked and fainted. Chapter 728. Spirit-Devouring Pill. Sect Leader Lu. These disciples of yours are really too weak in resisting pressure. I didn't say anything, but they actually fainted from anger. TSK, it would be really difficult for them to become great. Yun Chuzhou said arrogantly with her hands behind her back. Lu Qian's face was livid. He squeezed out 2 sentences through the gaps of his teeth. Young hero sure's words make sense. They really lack experience. After the disciple consumed the pill, he woke up. Just as he was about to say something else, Lu Qian gave him a tight slap on the face. You disgraceful thing, shut up. The disciple covered his face and did not dare to say anything. However, in his heart he hated Yun Chuzhou. You brat, just you wait. When we reach the goshawk sect, I'll definitely kill you. The rest of the journey was very smooth. Everyone left the chimeric plains and rode their swords to the goshawk sect. Yun Chuzhou was afraid of being exposed, so she did not use the chopping board. And Feng rode his sword and brought her along with Lu Qian and the others to the goshawk sect. The goshawk sect was in Chimeric City and occupied an entire street. When the goshawk sect heard that the sect leader had returned, they all went to the door to welcome him. Lu Lianxin immediately saw Yun Chuzhou, who was beside Lu Qian. She looked at Lu Qian in confusion. Father, why is this little thief with you? Why didn't you kill him? Lu Qian snorted in displeasure. What little thief? This is young Hiroshire, father's savior. Don't be rude. Lu Lianxin was usually very arrogant. When she saw that Lu Qian did not give her face in front of so many people, she stomped her feet and ran back to the manor. Lu Qian said, Young Hiroshire, please don't take offense. I have spoiled Lianxin so much that she can't be helped anymore. After I have lectured her, I'll ask her to apologize to you. Yun Chuzhou smiled indifferently. It's all right. Sect leader Lu is too polite. It's almost noon. Let's hurry in and have lunch. I'm hungry. The corner of Lu Qian's eyes twitched. Young Hiroshire, please come in. I'll get someone to prepare the banquet immediately. Lu Qian thought to himself, Although Shiling's spiritual power was not low, he's greedy for pleasure. There's no way he can escape from my grasp. After everyone entered the residence, Lu Qian first let everyone wash up and then set up a sumptuous banquet. However, some of the dishes in the feast included the spirit-devouring pills that he had bought at a high price. The spirit-devouring pills were much more expensive than the scattered spirit pills, but the spirit-devouring pills were colorless and tasteless. Even spirit emperors would find it hard to notice. Yun Chuzhou gave Enfeng a subtle look. Enfeng understood. Some of the dishes looked like they had been eaten, but in fact they had all been stored in his storage ring. He did not swallow them. Yun Chuzhou did not have such concerns, and she enjoyed the food very much. Sect leader Lu, your goshawk sect chefs are really good. These braised pork ribs taste better than the ones I ate elsewhere. It's a different kind of taste. Also, these steamed fish and dry fried meatballs are better than the ones cooked anywhere else. Lu Qian was shocked. The dishes that Shiling mentioned were all made with spirit-devouring pills. Could it be that he had discovered them? That was not right. If he discovered them, why was he still eating so happily? Perhaps it was just a coincidence. Yes, it must be a coincidence. After 3 rounds of wine and 5 dishes, the 2 spirit emperor elders that Lu Qian hired said, "Sect leader Lu, we've already agreed before that if we find the treasure, we'll split it by head. If we don't find the treasure, you'll pay us 10 million low-grade spirit stones each. Now it's time for you to fulfill your promise." Lu Qian smiled sinisterly. Spirit stones? The spirit stones paid, but you have to go underground to get it. Chapter 729. Little Black Lu Qian, what do you mean by this? The 2 old men flew into a rage. What do I mean? Of course I mean to kill you. Do you think I will let you spread the news that I got the map? Only dead people can keep a secret. Lu Qian said gloomily. Lu Qian, you're too arrogant. We're not to be trifled with. No, wait. My spiritual power. What about my spiritual power? You actually poisoned me. Despicable. The 2 old men realized that they had lost more than half of their spiritual power. Lu Qian smiled coldly. Do it. Kill them. The people of the goshawk sect attacked together. The 2 old men had lost more than half of their spiritual power, so they were no match for them. After 15 minutes they died. During this time Yun Chuzhou was still eating leisurely, as if these things had nothing to do with her. Seeing this, Lu Qian was a little suspicious. Could it be that the spirit-devouring pill had no effect on them? Why were they so calm? Lu Qian was a little hesitant. Should he make a move on Yun Chuzhou and Enfeng? Young hero, sure. Sorry for making a fool of myself. I wonder what you think of the taste of this meal? Lu Qian was afraid of Yun Chuzhou's spiritual power, so he decided to test it out first. The taste of the meal is very good. This grand banquet is also done very beautifully. Sect leader Lu, I've eaten and drunk the wine. May I rest now? I've been running around these days and am tired. I really want to have a good sleep. Yun Chuzhou stretched lazily, she said with a smile. Lu Qian was even more bewildered. Just as he was hesitating, Lu Lianxin and a few disciples pulled out their swords and stabbed at Yun Chuzhou and Enfeng. Brat! You humiliated us in the plains that day, and today I'll kill you. Not only will I kill you, but I'll also skin that flaming fox. Lu Lianxin hated Yun Chuzhou to death, coupled with the instigation of the male disciple whose spiritual power had been absorbed by the spirit vine. She could no longer hold back her hatred. Lu Qian's heart moved. It was good to let Lianxin and the others test the waters. It would be best if they were killed. If they were not killed, he would play the good cop, and the situation would be resolved. Therefore, Lu Qian gave a signal to the elders, telling them not to make a move for now and to wait and see. Yun Chuzhou's eyes darkened. These idiots are really courting death. If it wasn't for the fact that we wanted to lure out the person with the jade token, I would have killed all of you. Yun Chuzhou leaped and dodged the attacks of these people. She easily kicked Lu Lianxin and the others to the ground and then said coldly, Sect leader Lu, is this what you meant by treating me well? Could it be that you also poisoned our dishes? Lu Qian laughed dryly. Young hero, sure, how is that possible? Aren't the two of you doing well? You're my savior. How can you be compared to those two greedy people? Lianxin, I really spoiled you. Hurry up and apologize to young Hiroshire. Father, this brat has humiliated me several times, and you still want me to apologize to him? Lu Lianxin was kicked on the dining table by Yun Chujio. The soup and water splashed all over her body, making her look very miserable. Bastard! Do you ever heed my words? Men, lock up Lianxin and these bastards. No one is allowed to let them out without my order. Lu Qian said angrily. Father, how dare you treat me like this? I don't want to live anymore. Lu Lianxin was held in the palm of Lu Qian's hand all this time. How could she have suffered such a great grievance? She immediately picked up the sword and was about to commit suicide. Lu Lianxin was purely trying to scare Lu Qian. She did not want to die at all. However, there was a little black bird in Yun Chujia's spiritual beast's back. When it heard that Lu Lianxin was going to skin the flaming three-tailed fox king, it was immediately unhappy. Little Red was now its underling. How dare you bully my underling? I curse you to death. Thus, this fellow began to curse secretly. Then, everyone watched as Lu Lianxin staggered and actually committed suicide. Chapter 730. Luring the snake out of its hole. Lu Qian also thought that Lu Lianxin was just scaring him, so he did not pay too much attention to it. Furthermore, the incident happened so suddenly. By the time he regained his senses, Lu Lianxin was already dead. Lianxin, my daughter, my good daughter. Lu Qian, who had just regained his senses, collapsed on the ground and wailed loudly. Yun Chujio frowned. No matter how she looked at it, she felt that Lu Liangxin's death was a little strange. It was as if she had fallen and hit the blade of the sword. Little Black, did you do this? Little Black rolled its bean-like eyes. Master, I didn't expect her to be so unlucky. I wanted to teach her a lesson, but she died just like that. Retribution. This is retribution. Cut the crap. I'm warning you, if you act on your own next time, I definitely will not let you off easily. Yun Chujia's head hurt a little. These three silly cubs looked obedient, but each of them was more worrisome than the last. However, compared to the two big shots in her dantian, these three were not bad. Why is my life so bitter? At that moment the banquet hall was in chaos. Lu Qian's eyes were red. Although he felt that Lu Liangxin's death was a little strange, he had watched Lu Lianxin kill herself. He did not blame himself for the trouble caused by his greed. Instead, he blamed Lu Liangxin's death on Yun Chujio. If it weren't for you, my daughter wouldn't have died. I would have killed you sooner or later. Lu Qian could really endure it. Although he hated Yun Chujio in his heart, he said on the surface, young Hiroshire, I'm really sorry that such a thing happened at home. I'll get someone to take you to rest. I'll take care of Liangxin's funeral before I entertain you properly. Yun Chujio also revealed a pained expression. Sect leader Lu, I'm sorry for your loss. Then I'll rest first. We'll talk more when we have time. Yun Chujio and Enfeng went to the guest room. Yun Chujio had specifically asked for only one guest room. Lu Qian did not have the heart to ask about it, so the servants arranged for the two of them to stay in the same courtyard. Enfeng took out the isolation array and activated it. He asked, young master, was what happened to Lu Lianxin really an accident? Yun Chujio curled her lips. Little Black caused it. I've already warned it. If there's a next time, I won't forgive it. And Feng's eyes twitched. I knew it. No matter how I look at it, that Lu Lianxin doesn't look like she was really going to commit suicide. So it's Little Black's doing. Young master, what should we do next? Wait and see. Well, lure the snake out of its hole. I reckon that person has already received the news of Lu Qian's return, and will come to visit soon. Lu Qian won't be able to get the map from me, so that person will probably meet me personally. When the time comes, we'll act according to the situation. And Feng nodded, and the two of them took turns to meditate and rest. Although Lu Qian's heart was filled with grief, the ambition in his heart swelled even more. He could not let Liangxin's death be in vain. He had to turn the Goshawk sect into a super-large sect. Even if he could not obtain the map from that Shiling, as long as he stalled them when that person arrived, that person's spiritual power would be superb and he would definitely be able to kill Shiling. At that time the credit would still go to him. Just as Lu Qian was about to make further plans, he did not expect that someone would arrive in his bedroom that night. "My lord, you're here." Lu Qian was very excited when he saw that the person who had come was the person who had given him the pills. It must have been his Liangxin's spirit in heaven that had protected him. The Goshawk sect's chance to soar to the sky had come. Chapter 731. Hand over the map. Is there a map there? Have you obtained the map? The person asked in a hoarse voice. Sir, there is indeed a map there. Good. Very good. Quickly hand it over to me. The person's tone suddenly rose, clearly very excited. Sir, but that map isn't in my hands now. It has been taken by Shiling, but don't be anxious, sir. That Shiling is in my residence. Lu Qian thought for a moment and did not ask the person why he sold the map to the stone spirit. He was afraid that if he asked too many questions, he would anger the person. Shiling? Who is Shiling? Why is the map with him? The person asked in puzzlement. Sir, didn't you sell a jade slip to that Shiling? He found the treasure according to the map on it. We were in the main hall, and it was he who saved us. Lu Qian briefly recounted what had happened. That person snorted coldly. Nonsense. When have I ever sold a jade slip? Call that guy over immediately. Lu Qian quickly sent someone to invite Yun Chuzhou. A moment later, the servant came back to report. Sect leader, young Hiroshir said that he's very tired. If there's anything, we'll talk about it tomorrow during the day. That person snorted coldly. Lu Qian, you go with me. I want to see who dared to trick us. Lu Qian wished this man could slap Yun Chuzhou to death. He and the man immediately went to the courtyard where Yun Chuzhou was. The two of them directly barged into the house. Although it was night, the inside of the house was as bright as day. A huge luminous pearl was placed on the table. Yun Chuzhou sat calmly on the chair, drinking tea and eating melon seeds. When she saw the two of them come in, she giggled. All of you are here? If you want the map, then sit down and talk. Shiling? Why did you make up the lie that I sold you the jade slip? What are your intentions? The masked man looked at Yun Chuzhou carefully for a while. Although this kid might have hidden his spiritual power, he did not see anything special. What are my intentions? Of course it's for the spirit stones. Now that the map is in my hands, if you want it, you can buy it with spirit stones. It's that simple. Yun Chuzhou took out the map from her storage ring and shook it, then put it away. Don't be arrogant, Shiling. You're now in the territory of our Goshawk sect. If you anger me, you won't have a good ending. Lu Qian's eyes were full of resentment. As long as I get the map, I will make you beg for your life and avenge my Lianxin. I advise you to be more sensible. If you force me into a corner, I will destroy the map. At that time, none of us will be able to get it. Yun Chuzhou calmly sipped her tea and said indifferently. The masked man sneered and said, How many spirit stones do you want? I heard that this map is related to a huge treasure. Therefore, it's naturally very valuable. 100 million upper-grade spirit stones. 100 million upper-grade spirit stones? You're simply asking for a sky-high price. Lu Qian cursed angrily. The masked man also sneered and said, It seems that you don't have the sincerity to make a deal. In that case, give me your life. The masked man suddenly reached out his hand and slapped Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou dodged the man's attack. Hey, if the price is too high, we can discuss it again. It's not a good habit to get physical. Cut the crap. Hand over the map. Otherwise, I'll kill you. The masked man slapped Yun Chuzhou again. Chapter 732. Who is your master? Kill me. You're dreaming. We might not even be able to kill each other. Yun Chuzhou kept dodging and did not attack. The masked man saw that he could not hit Yun Chuzhou after a few moves, so he became a little impatient. He shouted at Lu Qian, what are you standing there for? Hurry up and help. Just as Lu Qian was about to help, he felt a gust of wind behind his head and subconsciously dodged it. He did not expect that there would be another gust of wind in front of him. Just as he dodged it, there was another gust of wind behind his head. Lu Qian kept dodging in a sorry state. Sir? Help! Help! What's going on? The masked man was stunned. Concealment talisman? Just as he was stunned, Yun Chuzhou also disappeared. Almost at the same time, Lu Qian screamed and fell to the ground. The masked man was shocked and wanted to rush out of the door. How could Yun Chuzhou and Enfeng let him have his way? She thought that the person behind Lu Qian was very powerful, but she did not expect that he was only at the 4th level of the Spirit Emperor realm. She really overestimated Lu Qian. Yun Chuzhou and Enfeng Pincer attacked from the front and back, and they also activated the concealment talisman, so they did not spend much effort to restrain the masked man. After restraining the spiritual power of the masked man, Enfeng broke the tendons of the man's feet. Only then did he and Yun Chuzhou reveal themselves. Enfeng took off the mask on the man's face, revealing an ordinary face. He took off the jade plate on his waist and looked at it. Sure enough, there was a picture of the lily carved on it. Tell me, who is your master? Yun Chuzhou took out a large kitchen knife and rubbed it on the man's face. The man looked at Yun Chuzhou with contempt. You want to know about our master? Don't even think about getting any information from me. After saying that, the man intended to bite the poison hidden in his mouth. Unexpectedly, Yun Chuzhou touched his body a few times and he found that he could no longer move. Yun Chuzhou took out the poison in his mouth. She sneered. You still want to play this trick with me? I have a lot of ways to make you beg for death. For example, I will cut you 1,000 times, pour honey on you, and let the stone-eating ants bite you bit by bit until you're left with white bones. Then I will give you a muscle-growing pill. When your skin and flesh grows back, I will cut you a few more times. The man widened his eyes in horror. Yun Chuzhou tapped on his acupuncture points a few times. Then, she used the large kitchen knife to cut his neck. This is the first cut. If you don't say it, it'll continue to cut. Anyway, I have the pills here, so I won't let you die. The man could not take it anymore. If he took the poison and committed suicide, it would only be a moment of pain. The punishment described by Yun Chuzhou was really creepy. I'll say it. I'll say it. If you want to talk, then tell us everything you know. If you dare to lie or brush us off, Yun Chuzhou took the large kitchen knife and slashed the man's neck again. At that moment, the man felt that the young man in front of him was simply a devil that had come out of hell. He said in a trembling voice, young hero. I'll talk. I'll talk. Actually, I don't know who the Lord is. 3 years ago, a man wearing a mask came to me and said that he could rapidly increase my spiritual power. He also promised me that if we complete the Lord's great cause, he would lead us to a higher level continent. The spiritual energy there is 100 times richer than our Qingxian continent. It will be a paradise for mankind. Chapter 733. I heard that you have another brother. That person gave me some pills to consume and use to subdue the forces. He asked me to look for information about the Eye of the Earth. I happened to obtain that sheepskin map, and thought that there might be something inside. Thus, I subjugated Lu Qian and wanted him to be a scapegoat to scout the way. If I can find the map or the treasure, I will kill him and take it for myself. If he dies, I'll find someone else. Young hero, that's all I know. I haven't seen that person for 3 years, but he would occasionally ask me about the progress of the matter through the voice transmission talisman. I've told you everything I know. Please spare me. Yun Chuzhou's palm landed on the back of the man's neck. Then she said to Enfeng, what this person said should be true. Let him use the voice transmission talisman to lure the upper line here. Who knows what he might do with the voice transmission talisman? There are only 2 of us and we're really alone. Enfeng nodded. Miss Zhou, let's return to the Spirit Radiance sect first and then make a long-term plan. Yun Chujo thought about it and could only do so. Alright. Well, return to Spirit Radiance sect now. Then what about the mess that is Goshawk sect? In natural selection, the winner is king. Let them fight among themselves. Well, leave now. Yun Chujo was not in the mood to deal with these trivial matters. She put the man in a sack and let Enfong carry him on her shoulder. Then she set a fire and took advantage of the chaos to leave the city. After the two of them left Chimeric City, they returned to the Spirit Radiance sect on a flying spirit tool. Half a month later, the flying spirit tool arrived at the Spirit Radiance sect. Yun Chujo brought the man who had taken the sleeping powder to the meeting hall and told Master Xianyuan everything that had happened. However, when Yun Chujo told him, she did not mention the merman. Instead, she told him about the illusion that the merman had set up. Little Joe, you should go back and rest. I will gather the other 3 sect leaders and discuss a safe plan before informing you. Since the matter was of great importance, Master Xianyuan could not make a decision in a hurry. Yun Chujo nodded and returned to her dormitory. She did not dare to relax for the past few days. Finally, she could have a good rest. Yun Chujo took a shower and fell asleep. Yun Chujo slept until the evening. When she woke up, she saw Di Biming sitting beside the desk, reading a book. Seeing this, she jumped over from the bed. Prince Charming, I missed you so much. Quickly catch me. Di Biming sighed and stretched out his arm to hold Yun Chujo in his arms. Nonsense. How crazy are you? Yun Chujo hugged Di Biming's neck and said shamelessly, I like to fool around. Don't you like me like this? Di Biming picked Yun Chujo up and put her back on the bed. He said with a straight face, I heard that you have another brother? Yun Chujo blinked her eyes. My Prince Charming, did the little madman tell on me? This chatterbox. Little madman? The corner of Di Biming's eyes twitched. Little Joe, don't change the topic. What's with the merman? The merman is so pitiful. He was trapped by 3 10,000-year-old black iron chains for more than 10,000 years. Yun Chujo told him everything. Of course, she naturally omitted some details that could easily be misunderstood by Di Biming, such as how the mermaids multiplied. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.